Beaver, away!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Crits Cast channel. I know, it's a change for me too, but we'll get used to it. I'm your boy TurboTabs, your TFTV, refugee in these parts. I'm casting some ETF2L Nations Cup number 7 alongside my buddies DuMmTm, I should say, and Wiethoofd over in this little commentator box. So we've got our coverage of our first games of the round of 16 of the Nations Cup number 7, and we're going to start off with a bit of Israel versus Wales. DuMmTm, what do you think of this first match?
This could be interesting. Obviously, all the teams that made it out are, to some degree, pretty good already. Needless to say, they finished either first or second in a group. In this case, I believe Wales first in their group, and after a tiebreaker eventually. Israel finishing second after some close games against the Czech Republic. And it's an interesting one. Israel is basically forcing fresh out of third place, I believe, in Div 1. And with some previous Prem experience on about half the roster as well. And then you look at the Wales roster, and it's basically like a PugChamp mix coming together, playing for Wales. We have Funds, Matt CV returning for a little bit here, Ayed Gink, Hugo, Solantis, Connor, all well-known figures for the most part. And I think the only ones, like I mentioned, that are not too familiar names on the Welsh roster are Matt CV and Hugo. Hugo playing in Div 1, I think for Crunch, making it second. So still really high experience.
Whoa. Matt CV, not a household name. Bite your tongue, dumb.
Maybe not these days too much anymore, at least.
That man is a legend. I will not have you trample on his legacy. All right, but seeing as we kind of gotten into the flow of some rosters, I guess we should just reiterate those rosters one more time for the audience, because I do love a good roster rundown. I'm going to go through the entire thing, all for me and me alone, dumb, so no sharing, no takesy-backsies. So over on the Wales squad, we've got Connor on Medic, Solantis will be playing that Demo Man, Hugo is the man you mentioned on that Pocket Soldier, Gink will be playing that Roaming Soldier, and you've got Funds and Matt CV himself playing those Scout classes.
I wouldn't even be so sure about the soldier roles, but we'll see. I think they had it the other way around on their respective teams recently.
We might be surprised. We'll see. It depends how Wales are feeling. Otherwise, over on the Israeli squad, we have Zangetsu on that medic class. Verse will be that chill dude on the Demo Man class. Lanza will be playing the Pocket Soldier. Jackie Legs on that signature Roaming Soldier. Delgin and Shukupul. I'm just going to call him Shul, as always, on that Scout as well. Now, I've casted like one Nations Cup game, and it was an Israel game, so I'm feeling pretty, patriotic about my Israel boys. I'm not sure about you, Dom.
Well, they've been around for a while. They dropped out just for third place in Div 1, played this entire season, so they have some experience here together, and sure, in some way or another, the Welsh people here have definitely played with each other before, but probably not to the same extent that these guys have. They have just a lot of history with each other, which might or might not make a big difference, but then again, the overall skill level up top for Welsh is a little bit higher, which, it's a little bit of the cohesion versus experience thing here.
Yeah, it's that age-old question in TF2, Dom, where people kind of wonder how much team is there in Team Fortress 2, and if I had to kind of point the gun straight towards your head, Dom, what would you say is like the power of a good team? Is it really that sort of chemistry, that synergy, or is it just about star power? Is it just about Funds, going in and just maiming people on his own?
It depends on if they said chemistry can keep what the other team has. In this case, like you mentioned, the star power here, and just raw DM in check, not let it just run loose all over them. That would be really, really important. But for all I know about Forskings, they're a really aggressive team, so it could come to a lot of scrappy fights, which might or might not actually be in favor for the Welsh roster here with the lack of experience, but definitely surplus of DM on their part.
Okay, well, if you can't quite call it yet, maybe we can call it if we get into a bit of our maps, because sometimes the maps can kind of dictate what kind of game we're going to get, or who's going to have the strong matchup in these, and it has been decided, it's been decreed that our first map will be Gully Wash, our second map will be Snake Water, and Process will be our final decider if it comes down to it. Now, is any of these maps jumping out at you like somebody's won the map draft, or is it looking quite even for both of these teams?
I don't know, this is the standard 3, and to be fair, you don't have that much of option variety here for the Nations Cup. You only have 5 maps. They only have, besides these 3 here, I believe Granary and Badlands or Prolands B5, not the one with the fast cap plan yet. So there's not too much to choose from in the first place, and this is like about the standard 3 maps you can get in Comp TF2. The other 2 are a little bit more like preference dependent, and yeah, Decider was Process, I believe. That's like the Decider map if it should ever come to it, in my opinion.
Okay, so there's no wildcards here. There's no sort of kind of flukes that could happen here. The better team is going to win this. Agreed?
Definitely. With these maps, with this map order as well, it just depends on if you're the better team here right now, and I'm interested to see who it will be. Obviously, knockout stage is already here for the playoffs, so you win or you lose and you're out.
Easy. Nice and simple. I like it simple. So they're fighting for their lives here, both of these teams, and is there anybody that you're thinking that's going to fight just a little bit harder? Who's going to win out on this this best of freedom? Let's start off with Gullywash, actually. Let's just go with Gullywash. We'll go a map at a time as the series goes on. So who's going to win Gullywash?
It's going to be tough. I want to give it to Israel for... I don't know if it's even upset factor at that point, but maybe a little bit of that.
Oh,
I want to believe.
That's the correct answer there you've got, Dum, because I think that Jackie Legs is going to just spring on this map. This map is all about the roamer, and Jackie Legs just strikes me as the star power on this roamer class in this server, so we'll see if Gink can kind of hold a candle to him. As we are going straight into it, ladies and gentlemen, it is Critscast covering our ETF2L Nations Cup number 7. It's Israel versus Wales, and we're going straight into mid of this Gullywash map, and the first thing I see is a big jump coming in from Hugo, but he's not jumping towards the enemy team, he's jumping into his own team. They want to kind of just blob up and try and take the ground effectively. Both scouts do go up the high ground to get up top, and Hugo's creating some damage, creating a little bit of space, but there's no follow-up here, Dum, and it just Israel are holding the line, slowly chipping away at them. The scouts biting at their heels, they're chasing all these players. Solentes is going to be the last one taking a bite out of, and Gink is even going to go down to the verse man himself over and choke, and it's an Israel mid, just like we predicted.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried in the early parts there for them, letting everything get so close, but they did this really nice and patient. Sure, they did still unfortunately lose their medic, but they played it really nice from there on out. Got the other one, played it patiently to get all the frags they needed, and for that matter, all there was to get in the first place, and Getsu using the opportunity to switch to the crit speed will surprise them for sure. There's nobody went spy so far, so let's see if Burst or whoever will be the receiver here can deliver.
Now that is a surprise. Not many people run this crit streak nowadays. It's too much of a risk, but these Israels, they just like to really run the risks and try and go big or go home, and let's see how they shape up. They should have the crits built relatively soon, but look at Connor, he's building it just as quickly here, Dum.
Yeah, which in reality just means that there's not really any building at all going on for the Israel part here.
Dear Lord, Connor actually got his Uber first before the crit streak. Israel, that is a no-no, that shouldn't be happening. He actually pops off his Uber now to counter this crit streak, and they send a couple of players to play the point while this crits was coming out. A smart play if it just didn't happen to come across an Uber charge during that fight.
Yeah, and the Welsh roster here was really patient, didn't let them get carried away by point play. Runs on the chase, rockets hitting the medic as well. Eventually, and guess it will get cleaned up. Lance are the only survivor of this complete meat grinder, as everybody on the Wales roster just moving out to second, capping it up already, and will have Uber advantage with this late death on Sangasu as well.
I wonder if the Israelis attempted here to kind of go for the open extension, see if they can get a pick on somebody. First, we'll find the pick on Solentes. It's a nice pick, but it's not the pick they want. They want to get that Connor pick and kind of even out these Uber charges if they want to kind of pick up the pieces there. And Lanz is going to deliver just that. So the scouts actually, without a medic on the field, they can focus their scatter guns in other places, and there's no other places to fire upon Dun because they've just killed everybody else.
Yeah, that's the aggressive play that I expected out of these guys. Just everybody together in and just abusing like really small openings they got there to get all the space and got the soldiers in there for free basically. And just mild lack of awareness and just, like you mentioned, this just mild lack of team play there that just let people in the first place. And up to that point as well, just press W anymore and destroyed them for it.
they're looking pretty good on this Israeli squad. I was taking a quick gander at the TF2 Metrics Twitter earlier, and they've only predicted a 9.5% for this team, and they already look pretty in charge to me. To say it's only sitting at 9%, but I know there's still a long way away as they uber in now. They've taken out the sentry gun quickly. Verse has got that right spawn door on lockdown, so with only one place for Wales to get out here, it's all on Salintas to delay time and just have the Whales eventually weasel their way out of it. They use the Uber to actually facilitate said weaseling, and they can't find Shoal though. Shoal's around this corner. Funds has tracked him down, and that back cap opportunity has been taken away from the Israelis as they're trying to pick up the pieces around these little choke corners. There's a bit of miscommunication between Funds and co, because Funds wanted to push, but everybody else on the Wales team wanted to stay and fight. Stay and fight in the defensive side of their map. They're trying to go for a point play Israel, but they will get taken apart one by one by these patient Welsh players. Oh, the medic.
Alright, and Eastern gets on the escape, trying to survive as much as he can. Wanted to saw as well, won't get the opportunity.
He's still alive.
The pistol's out by Funds.
Oh my god!
Gink with the late bomb.
Oh no! Gink comes from the sky and claims the easiest med kill of his life. He was only on 2 HP. Lander's trying to kind of pick up the pieces, and of course Connor's going to die. That kid is made out of Weetabix and biscuits. He's just so easy to just crumble here over on this Gully map. Hugo is almost edging out here. We'll get back to the safety of the base and the health pack, and they fight for another day here. Israel still hold on to this second point.
Yeah, and these fights on mid and second make it so surprising that the Uber was so weak. They are able to take them on in these DM fights, but on the last push they just didn't get the opportunity to get anything done there, which is really surprising in comparison.
Well, third time's the charm here, Tom, or at least it feels like the third time for this Israeli squad, because they just really struggle on this last push. And let's see if they approach it differently, or maybe they could at least build the Uber quicker than last time. Oh my god! What was that pipe? What was that? Oh my sweet merciful Jesus, Verse, that was the most BS pipe I have seen in a long time. I just want to walk away from the computer, but I can't. It's just too good to watch, Tom.
I think Connor wants to, but he can't right now. The push is coming in and his team needs heals, but already losing so many players to this push. Funds also die eventually. Point is trying to get contested, but is still behind it. They all dive into it and get these kills just as they needed them.
Verse, if you can hear me, go out to the shop, buy lottery tickets. You've just got something, some luck in the air. I don't know, maybe it's something in the water, because that guy is just so lucky. I can't believe it was just like one stray pipe he just felt like spamming out and it managed to get him. Dear Lord.
But also, why did Connor not expect Bam to come from anywhere? He just was standing here so casually, not thinking about even trying to dodge anything.
Well, we're on to another mid. They have to put this behind them, Wales, as they are round down. It's not the most cushion of leads for Israel, as they have to really work for that point, and they're doing a much better job at this midpoint now in the second round of this Gully map. Bales are just kind of picking them off one by one. You do see a bit of kickback from Verse and co, but Verse is only just one man against an army. He's going to get cleaned up, and Jackie Legs eventually comes in, but I'm kind of scratching my head here, Dom. Where was Jackie Legs for the entirety of that mid?
In the enemy big door, just waiting for his opportunity, and eventually, sure, things went wrong, but it allowed him to have just this easy re-entry while everybody was focused on pressing W across the point to get these last few kills. Didn't know he was there. He just leaped at Connor and found success immediately.
I mean, I guess if that's the plan, he kind of forfeited the mid to just get a very delayed kill onto Connor, but mission accomplished, I suppose. For the Israelis, they want to go back in for the fight, still sticking to their guns that have been working for them all throughout the game, but Wales are just not really susceptible to this aggression on at least the second point of Israel, as they will control and just pick off some of these Israeli players and get the second point to boot.
Yeah, sometimes the offense is the best defense. So far not working out too well on this one round lead for Israel as the push comes in here. Connor almost has. They get the first kill here. Want to play the point before they even pop the Uber. And they're still not getting forced to use it up until now. Now everybody had to go down, block the point, and they're just getting picked up one by one by this Welsh roster.
There we go. That was that convincing round we were expecting out of Wales. Again, just very calm, collected control. It's almost like things are the other way around, Dum. It's a bit topsy-turvy. You expect the organization and the sort of synergy coming out from the Israeli team, the one that's kind of more of a team here, but the star power is actually working for them instead when it comes down to it.
Zero and bombs for the midpointers. The bombs are coming in early, but not getting huge amounts of damage. Lancer eventually cleaned up. He had an attempt with Ging, but he couldn't get up from underneath them. So instead, it's Hugo leaping forward. Ging gets cleaned up, but they do get some kills with Hugo's bomb instead. Trying to push forward and then get some more nice fight by Atlantis, and they force him just all back into choke. That's another one. Was still here, and it now just should people alone on the midpoint trying to survive while Funds cleans up his medic already.
Oh wow, Scholl is going to get some revenge kills onto Salentes there. It's still a victory, but not quite as clean as they wanted it to be over on the Welsh squad, and I don't know, maybe they can still pull something back here. Connor did keep himself alive during that, so he's going to have an uber charge advantage eventually as pushing into this second point right now.
Yeah, and once again, just everybody on the Israel roster, not even like being worried about the situation, going back to last, setting up a defense. They don't want to give up a point for free, they want to keep fighting. But sooner or later, it seems like they're slowly realizing that with Connor coming up on this Uber, on this really tough to break situation here on the second point, it really, they just can't afford it. And now they set up a defense, the sentry comes up, could have been the level 2 if not 3 already, but maybe Wales just gets an easier time here because of it.
He gets that level 2 eventually. They haven't pushed in quite as yet. They've popped in now, and this level 2 sentry gun is a bit of a pain to actually take down here. It takes all of the attention of Salentes, and it allows Israel to bite back as they are cleaning up the last remnants of this Welsh squad. Salentes is the next one on this kill list, and he will go down just like the rest of them. MatsEV goes for the play on the point while the scouts' backs were turned, gets the medic kill, almost gets the point as well, and I'm not sure if Wales should count themselves lucky or unlucky in that scenario.
Yeah, the Uber was just not good enough, and once it faded, they were just stuck on the ground and immediately got cleaned up as well. MatsEV saving the situation a little bit there, getting the medic and making it at least a little slower for Israel to arrive on the second point, but they do still have the time before the spawns come in here. So in the end, a mild Uber advantage, but not anything dramatic, as both scouts that just last died here will be back on the field. Everybody has everything back up, and not enough advantage on the table to make anything happen other than a stalemate for now.
You can see Connor's just inching ahead over when building this Uber. It's not really a priority for Israel right now. They seem to be focused on more the big game plan rather than the tiny, minute micro plays of just being a bit better mechanically and just doing their core basics better over on this Welsh squad.
Yeah, and we'll see how it works. For Israel, it's kind of weird because the best strength and the greatest weakness is their aggression. When they can get stuff going, and we saw both of that this game, it's just going great, and when it just doesn't, they are just hesitant to set up a normal hold instead of like we've seen before here, just try to contest aggressively.
Gink! Oh, Gink the man, he delivers! He wanted one med pick, he comes out with one med pick. A drop from Zangetsu is going to be costly for this Israel team, as now they just need to repel this initial aggressive wave from Israel over on the Wales team, and with that sorted, they've got an overcharge in their back pocket. They do!
With Connor Crater, no, he surfs onto the little ledge there and survives the fall damage.
My god, does this boy even have Mouse 2 bound to his uber charge? He just doesn't want to use it in any shape, way or form, and he won't really cost him his team anything right now, but these big ball plays have eventually got to be punished here, Dom.
Ooh, Jagilex just walks up to him from the corner, and like you mentioned, Connor just doesn't use when provoked by anything, and now it will not be that good as it was before, as they are just desperately trying to make something happen. Everybody storms in. Everybody gets cleaned up rather quickly though.
People were quite low here on Israel. I think if MatsEV had a bit more confidence in him, he probably could have gone in and killed some nerds. You know, bap. 3 kills, thank you very much. But they will try and get this second point back from Israel as they're making the push out here. They do have the heals a bit better. Verse is caught in no man's land. He's very low, and Ging chases down the kill and farms him. They've got the Uber charge over on Israel, and they use it now, but I can't help but wonder if they could have used that Uber earlier, especially to save Versus' life.
Yeah, questionable enough for that moment to push out so far out of the shutter door. It's such a safe position to stand in. And now Hugo's threatened back up as well. He gets spotted out, but he draws everybody back as the Hugo situation in the first place doesn't allow them to stay there much longer. Connor drawing closer on 100%. And just getting sketchier and sketchier now on the hold.
Wow, they spent so much ammo dealing with funds that Hugo manages to get him somewhat unscathed, but there's one scout, and the one scout is all it takes. It does repel him back. They go in with the Uber charge now. A little surprised are the rest of Israel, as they didn't expect this Uber charge to come in this early, losing count almost, and they're just getting decimated by it. Once the Uber has just not been prepared for, it does its work here, Dom.
I am gonna be really curious about the Sill's damage distribution in his stats, how much of it will be pipes and how much will be sticks, because I feel like it will be unproportionately high pipe damage compared to what we usually see.
Kind of showing off some frustration in the in-game chat as well, so I mean, can you really complain though, Dom, if your medic is dropping these Ubers but you're still winning the game?
That's like the on-break problem. You never want to use, so sometimes you're the hero and sometimes you're just the reason you lose a push.
Well, Gink has gone down immediately at the start of this mid, and with the sort of perceived advantage already, it gives the confidence to Israel to just push across the point, and gives the, I guess, the kind of anxiousness of Wales to actually back out. They just weren't really feeling brave there without their Gink player.
Yeah, quick advantage, and also quick out of the mid fight, what, like you said, just immediately leaving once things went wrong. Playing it safe, they have a little bit of a lead now, and it's not like they have too much of an advantage situation for Israel into this last point, so it's just a matter of having a good hold here against what so far hasn't been too convincing of pushes for Israel.
Okay, Uber charges a piece for both of these teams, but Israel have proved time and time again this last point is a tough cookie for them. They don't know how to approach it really, and when they do, it's kind of a freebie. The ones where they get a drop onto Connor or something along those lines, and they're entrusting that maybe throwing Lanza in, getting a drop again will work, but they've got funds with that sentry gun. He's even healing it up, prioritizing that sentry gun to really keep the line and keep Connor safe.
Yeah, just baiting them, really picking it up as well to just like dance on pistol damage so it doesn't take any more damage on the gun itself. Pretty smart stuff there. It's on level 1, so you wouldn't have lost a huge amount of progress on that part, but you know, the time can be valuable and you don't want to give them an opportunity to just jump your medic for free. In the meantime though, oh yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of time, it's 14 minutes left in this game here, Dom. It feels like a lot longer has passed, but it's only been just half time for this match, so it's still anybody's game here.
Yeah, and in the meantime, they struggle to create a situation here out of the stalemate on Israel's part, so they pull out the Lancer sniper, gets the energy quickly. No means for him to save his sentry gun now anymore.
Engineer down, that's a big pick in Highlander, but sadly we're playing 6v6 here, so I'm not sure how too useful of a pick that's going to be. Oh my lord, Lanza just got a Matt CV kill so easily there. I think they just prematurely popped just to make sure they don't deal with the Lanza sniper. Or maybe because there was some pressure coming out from Israel too, but I like to believe that Lanza's just such a scary sniper right now that they're just pre-popping. As he's still taking peeks in the winks here, but he can't seem to line up another shot onto Solentes, who's just proving a bit too just slippery for the sniper.
This was so strange. They had so much space and they just didn't use any of it. And this 2-kill advantage just completely goes to waste. The Super exchange should have been so much better, but in the end we're just back to pretty much even now.
What's the play here, Dum? If you're caught in the stalemate position like this, do you start risking it a bit more if you're on Israel, or is it better just to go for these low risks, low reward sort of plays?
I don't know, neither of which has been too successful, or at least it got them a way in, it got them the entry kills they wanted, but they just couldn't execute all of them. So really it's not as much of a matter of what they do to get there, it's a matter of what they do once they're there.
Alright, well, they've got a gink kill over on this riverside flank, and this gives the license to Jackie Les to jump in. They've actually popped the Uber, a very bold move coming out from Israel here. They're using the water to wrap around and use that as an exit way for the rest of this Israel team, and they do meet a few stickies here. There's another point play, turns all of Wales around to actually focus on it, and Jackie Lex just comes in, 1 kill, 2 kill, and 2 rounds for Israel.
that was exactly what they needed. Just combine the entry kill with the initial push, just get the kill onto Gink, onto the point, dive there to get the second kill, get a lot of time, get them all where they wanted, and then just like bait, where are we gonna go? Are we gonna come back from the point? Are we gonna go all the way to river? And they just split up a little bit and got even more point push after that. Really nicely done.
Israel really studying their Game of Thrones, realizing that chaos is a ladder and they just need to invoke that chaos and they can start getting some rounds under their belt. It's another chaotic mid as Lanza and Jackie Legs are pushed into the fray and battered back down by these scouts of Wales as well. Verse gets a nice crossbow to kind of keep himself alive, but he's only alive for like 3 more seconds before Zangetsu and Shull have to make a retreat and give up the point to Teams Wales.
Yeah, now it's Wales' time to show us what they have in store for an even situation here on the last. If it even comes to it, once again, Israel wanting to play aggressively. They don't quite have the greatest numbers. Lacking a Devilman here on this like high to low ground comparison situation can be tough. Salentis using it already to his advantage, just spamming up the balcony area and denying them so much access to it. Doesn't matter too much. They have a sniper. The Lancer has delivered some shots. Connor not too much in his sideline though.
Yeah, it was a good job by Team Wales to kind of spread themselves apart on that second point. It made it hard for Israel to kind of pick a initial pick to go into and who they should focus on. If it was just a big blob, it was easy for them to attack that. It's just one target, but when you've got 5 targets spread all over the map, it kind of makes it a bit too hard to just, jump in and fight.
Well, now we're here. 10 minutes left on the clock. Stalemate on the last point, and it's all on Wales right now. Israel are an aggressive team. They want to push. They have really aggressive positioning, and they got a scout mildly behind lines. So it looks like instead of relying on them to mess up on the Wales part here, they are the ones wanting to make the move here. But it's so easily punchable on the second point. You see it so many times. Just high-level teams baiting out mistakes into like a bad push and getting the round for it. So with players of their caliber on the Welsh roster here, it could be punished really, really quickly.
It's been very honourable in this game so far here, Dom. I haven't seen any backcaps, no shenanigans, no kind of cheesy play between both of these teams. And what minute mark do you think, right, we need to slap out some cheese, boys, because nobody's taking a bite out of it?
I don't know. I feel like if anybody, it probably will be Israel with how much they struggled on these last pushes here, but they're not given the opportunity at the moment. Still died. They got a decent pick with the demo man, but not enough. This, like I mentioned, this hold is really tough to just casually break here without anything substantial, and the single kill, even the demo man, might just not be good enough.
Okay, so they decided to just back off, not even give up the lobby area to Team Wales, and instead concoct a plan over on their last point. Israel just checking the doorways, getting some spam, holding the basic line. You could almost call this a stalemate, Dom.
You could also call it an even Uber situation where everybody is casually waiting for something to happen, because really, after the Salentis kill, nothing much has happened yet. Wales just casually throwing some damage over, seeing if they can maybe find something without having to commit too much. And sure, they still have some time, but that won't be the case forever.
So, I mean, let's pull out the notebook here, Dom, the guidebook, the gentleman's code. Who should be jumping in first? And Gink has interrupted you. He's saying he should jump in first, and he has gone down, but there's not too much risk for Wales right now, is there?
Not so much, unless the push comes in immediately and Matt TV is not out quickly enough. I feel like this was supposed to be a play for Wales to get a sniper up, and now the opportunity has become suddenly so much worse. Gink can't off-class, and he's a capable sniper, so it would have made a lot of sense. Great rocket there by Jackie, but that's just a little bit of damage for a scout. They still want to push. He gets eaten up by stickies though, and Elgin as well. Just left alone there.
Wow, so Salento is just smart gameplay, just planting the stickies where Jackie Legs is going to land while his soldiers are knocking people up. Oh no, Zangetsu's been forced the last. This is a dreadful situation for Israel here. It's potentially game losing now. They were just bum rushing the point because they know they haven't got the players to keep everybody on this point. If Funds just stayed on the point, he could have maybe just kept it out there, but it doesn't matter either way. It's 3-2 for Wales, Dom.
And Israel wanted to make a much bigger play on the second point. I just realized way too late that Lancer was wrapping all the way around them, trying to get onto Connor, but it just took so long and his teammates already died. They couldn't afford the long fight there, and it just gets punished quickly. Like I mentioned, the experience coming through a little bit, baiting the mistakes onto second.
You win by the corner, you die by the corner, and let's see if they can make the comeback here. With 7 minutes left on the clock, it's very possible on a map like Gully Wash, so we'll see going into our 6th mid of the game. Very high action pace as Jackie Legs is just taking a fighter elbow. Lanza will come into the core of Wales, but he's controlled very well by Team Wales, as the flank of Wales is having a much more successful time taking apart the Israel team.
Yeah, control is certainly the way to put this here. Gink just with a huge drop-down play, getting a 2k, and everybody else just kind of holding up whatever aggression was coming forward, and just get those kills that way, getting themselves onto the second point. Will be a last push potential there as well, with this Uber to keep it already on Sniper. He wants corner that before it even comes to it. Can't quite land the shot quite yet. Has to back off a little bit, and just will go to last now.
Yeah, he's got Riverside on lockdown, but that's just Roma territory now. That's the Roma's sort of scraps as they want to make the push in from the shutter door, and they've Ubered him now. They're chasing this medic down, pushes him out to his last point, but they don't even want the medic. They want this demo man that's hiding in this little nook, in this little cranny, covering this last point, and it's 4-2 before they even have a time to react here, John.
Yeah, just really consequent push there. Something that Israel has been sadly lacking a little bit. Just the moment they are into last, they know what they want. They have targets. They see the medic is not in reach anymore, so forget about him. Get the demo man, get the cap time, and just bait them on it to get the kills. Really nicely done.
Yep. I mean, once Verse was just taken out of the picture, it was very easy for them from that point. Henceforth, we are going into our 7th mid of the game. Still very possible for Team Israel here, but as Wales getting just a stronger and stronger grip on this game, Lanza gets a flank onto Connor, but Connor just surfs away from the damage, and they are taking some casualties from either side, but there's better positioning over against Team Israel. In Wales, they just have too many players fluttering around them at their choke point, and they will get a wipe onto them as well as the mid.
Gink just, once again, the man on the mid. I personally feel like he had a tough start to this game, but the last few minutes he just takes them apart time and time again, winning these mid fights for his team, getting so many kills as well, and including Sengetsu here, which once again is just a nice little mean of increasing this lead right now.
I swear, Gink is just listening on the channel. He knew that I was talking way too much about Jackie Legs, and he was like, let me show you something about mid or two, and he's delivering. This is really snowballing them. These additional rounds at the end of the game here really kind of confirming their win, as they're just about ready to confirm another round. It looks like they've started off well. They've got an initial pick onto Verse, and that's their point control taken away from Team Israel. Jackie Legs is even going to take an air shot to the face and will go down just like the rest. 5-2 here, Dom. Please, mercy.
Well, mercy rule would be probably more like it. We are getting closer and closer to that. The rounds have been getting faster and faster for Wales at the moment, and time limit is running in shortly too, with just 4 minutes left, but 2 more rounds would also be all it takes now.
Now this is truly the EU Nations Cup, as this is the EU rules. There is no stopping at the 5th round mark for this Wales team. It keeps going until one team just can't go any longer, or if the time runs out. But still, they're going into another mid here, and they are doing just a nicer job of finding these initial picks and like the sort of playoff damage funds and Matt CV. But Lanza, he's come up big for his team. He's got this flank around with Delgin, and Delgin and Lanza have actually turned the tables against Wales this time.
Yeah, this is like this weird play where you go enemy side because nothing else seems to work anymore, and these bits certainly happen. So you just switch it up for the sake of it, and they really were denied early on to get any high ground. It didn't matter, Wales just overextended into the Victor area and just got picked apart that way instead. So Wales making it harder for themselves than they needed to.
They've got the building blocks of a comeback here, Dom. I mean, 3 minutes left, they've got an Uber charge, it's 5-2, it's all quite possible, but is it really probable? Is they will Uber in, they Ubered into a sentry gun, however, didn't really spot it out. They eventually clean up the sentry gun. They get the kill onto Salentes nice and early. That is their point. Defense taken away. Jackie Legs is also going to get farmed by 2 players. There's nobody really committing to the rest of the fight though. There's not major amount of damage being put out. I say this, but they're slowly inching their way, but is it fast enough, Dom? They get around, but they need to win the war.
2 more rounds, 2 minutes 40, it is possible. They need maybe slightly more convincing, or faster for that matter, with wins and last conversions, but if they keep going with this pace, it's not impossible.
Jackie Legs needs to look at his wall, look at his picture of TCM Bite on the wall and just channel himself. Think, what would Bite do? And let's see. They're going into another mid, and they're going to aggress straight into them. Lanza's already taken a fast track to the enemy team, or at least the enemy elbow, as they can't seem to find anybody yet, but Wales find them. There's a nice set of damaging rockets coming out from Hugo here, softening up Israel, but they're holding the line, they're holding control, and they want to start aggressing now. It's a shame that one of the scouts there, I think that was Delgin, dropped down. They're still chasing these kills. They've chasing them back to their own base, and they've got the midpoint, they've got Connor. Again, the building blocks are showing themselves here, Dom.
Yeah, really nice patience. Usually you see people rush these sort of enemy side pushes, but they're really patient, deal with everything that comes their way really consequently. Got the soldiers quick and easy, and now just
they're here on last. They've taken out the sentry gun quickly. They've got the Uber charge. They need to start getting on top of that point, though. Hugo is hiding in the sneaky area, and they've got a scout on there. Two soldiers and scouts reveal themselves, and they reveal themselves to a trap. It's 5-4. The comeback is happening here, Dom. 1 minute left. Eyes are firmly on Israel right now.
It is all about this mid fight right now. They have the momentum going, and Wales has shown to have trouble with the right side, but they need to figure it out quickly or it's over.
What is for Wales to do here? Do they dare go to mid here, Dum? Do you just play it safe? And they do go to mid. They will risk it for it all as they're going in now. Salentes is heavily pressured. He gets picked off very early. That's usually a death sign for any mid over in this game of Team Fortress 2, but the soldiers are clawing it back with just the scouts and soldiers left for Israel. They're going to have to do a lot of work here, but Matt CV and Funds show why this scout class is overpowered. Jackie Legs is on his own, and he's now going to join the rest of his team. 29 seconds left on the clock, and the scouts are just hanging out on mid. I think it's over for this map here, Dom.
Wales knew exactly what they had to do to stop this momentum, get the medic, keep Connor alive, just hide in that little elbow area to not have any harm come to him with both scouts just bodyguarding him, and it will pay off in the end. Israel has struggled so much earlier on with the last pushes, and they just worked out a little bit too late.
But, God, do I feel it here, Dom. Even though that it was a victory for Wales, it just felt like a mini victory for Israel, because not many people were counting them to kind of come close in this match. Again, I bring up that TF2 metric, 9.4%. There's not many believers out there, but watching this game makes me kind of one.
Yeah, it's getting close here, and maybe next map will be better. I believe it was Snakewater, we'll see. And just really strange momentum, early lead, and then just back and forth until eventually we found ourselves in this situation with 5-2 and 4 minutes left.
My logs aren't working, so I'm going to entrust you to show me all of the logs here. I'm a little blind here.
Well, let's see what we got. I sort by kills per usual, and that's the first thing on the agenda here. And I see funds. 32 and 16, that is both really good, and what you kind of would expect out of the scout of his caliber, followed up by Delgin Blockmeister himself, 26 and 16, also really strong and upcoming scout for his part. And like I mentioned, King, I really genuinely felt he had a really weak first half or so of the game, and then once they needed to come back a little bit, sure, it was just a one-round deficit, but once they needed to just get the score back on board for themselves, King just showed up on these mids and completely walked over Israel.
Look at this neck-and-neck race between Jackie Legs and Gink here. It's actually making me wonder if Jackie Legs is actually the pocket for this team. Maybe I'm just a bit out of touch here.
29% heals, that seems pockety to me, yeah.
Okay, alright, so diagnose, Roma.
Which is strange in comparison. He is really heal heavy, and obviously his Roma Lancer isn't in comparison. And then you have Hugo and Gink, who are really close with 19 and 14%.
So, looking a bit more at these stats, I'm surprised that the drops haven't been a bit higher for both of these teams. It just feels like medics were going down at crucial points in the game, Dom, but they just didn't seem to have a crucial Uber charge in these crucial points either. So, I guess
14 deaths on both medics, that's certainly really high. And sure, that has to do with the general game pace, but then again, also the other way around, the game pace could only be that fast because medics were dead and couldn't come to that many stalemates.
I'm a little shocked here. I'm looking like the average build time, and it's 58 seconds. It's actually Zangetsu winning out against Connor, but there was still some moments I can remember in the back of my head where they lost out some pushes just because they weren't building quick enough over on Israel.
Yeah, I see that like saddeningly often that people just kind of neglect properly building when they have a crit because, oh no, it's going to be like 25% faster by default. We don't need to build. And then you realize that that's not the case. If they just like build properly and you just have to at the same time and look kind of stupid.
Alright, well, they're going to have to put this Gully Wash map behind them now, Dom, because, I mean, we have to. We're moving into our Snakewater game right after some Gentleman John extended logs, however. I'm going to put Snakewater on hold just for these extended logs, because I do love a good conversion rate. And look at that, I think that game could be summed up quite well by conversion rate, because conversion rates were a bit poor for Israel, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely the difference was really noticeable in-game as well. What are the exact numbers here? 83 to 67, and 67 is only really the case because of this like almost comeback. Before that, it would have been 30%, which is much poorer.
Yeah, I mean, God, that is a very high conversion rate for Wales. It's rare to see in TF2, but we'll put those stats away now. We'll stop beating these players over the head with these little enunciations of the mathematics as we're going into Snakewater now, and I don't know, we kind of can go into the morale of these two teams, but this is a strange sort of game here, Dom. I think Israel are pretty happy, but Wales are happy as well. So it's like we're all just starting all over again as we are live here, Dom.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how the Romas will be doing here. Both teams had moments where they kept each other's Romas in great like track and didn't let them do too much on the mid fights, but there were also moments where people just had complete control of what they were doing on these soldiers.
Boys and girls, it's casting on Crits Cast. It is ETF2L Nations Cup number 7. It's TurboTabs, Dum and Wiethoofd, and it's Wales versus Israel. Lanza's jumping in, Jackie Legs is jumping in, and they're getting a kill immediately off on Matt CV. They even get a W, like scout aggression, just running straight at Salentes. He's going to be annoyed as Connor is doing his darnest to just avoid these rocket jumps from these Israel soldiers, and he's kept himself alive and he's keeping funds enough. I say that, I've actually cursed the boy. He's gone down now, but he had enough buff and enough heals to kind of keep the fight going and possibly bring it back to Wales.
But that CV spawn so quickly that Gink as well can connect with Connor, and it just ends the push or the chase here immediately. So everything just taking a little too longer for Israel's part, and they wanted to play it calm and collected there after this really like aggressive start there to just like edge out the last 3 kills, but maybe took themselves a little bit too much time. So people just kind of feeds into the second point, sees if he can get anything. Wouldn't be surprised if the sniper comes out for the stalemate.
If only they could have seen what we could see, Dom. They had an uber advantage for them just for a tiny little bit while Connor was busy jumping away from all these soldiers. He wasn't healing everybody at a constant rate like Zangetsu was, and they could have made the uber charge into him. I don't think they would have expected that, but c'est la vie. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. They're going to move past this as we've got a stalemate over on this second point. They've got their eyes on Lanza right now, who has been making waves in the first half of that Gully Wash map.
Zangetsu just suddenly drops the silver, spamming him.
What? Okay, well, I didn't even... I really did not expect that in any shape or form. My camera's squarely in a different part of the map. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to continue here from this point. They're a little surprised here on Wales just as much as Israel. They are forcing that overcharge out of Connor, and it is kind of a decent force as nobody's really gone down for it. Just Delgin and not really any other players. They will lose midpoint, but that was expected from this push.
Yeah, looks like Connor has on his curse to Zangetsu. His son dropped out of nowhere and he pops to save himself. Strange world we live in, and it works out for Wales here for the most part. They're all in choke, wanting to make that happen. Keeper just walks over a lonely Gink on the flank though. Lets his soldiers run a little bit more freedom here, but they can't do too much with that. Wales just really far back really quickly. They still want to make more happen with it though. They have this one player, they want to get some damage, they want to be aggressive and fast, and taking a lot of space early, even so much so that Wales just completely gives up the midpoint.
Man, I bet this team hates 5CP, just constantly having to take a pause every minute or so just to kind of cap the point, and all they want to do is go, move, just take the fight straight to them. But they will eventually tiptoe their way back to the second point over on the Welsh team, and they've got an Ubercharge this time, so being a little bit more confident taking on this Israel squad, but it's kind of Israel's play to make as they've got the midpoint, they've got the spawn advantage, and we're all just waiting for that.
Yeah, unless the medic like randomly disappears again, that would be slightly unfortunate. I don't know if I would hope that happens or not. If it happens, it better look good on camera and be a really nice shot.
Well, we've seen, I think if there's going to be any medics disappearing, it's going to be coming down from Verse. Verse just seems to get some... We saw a crazy pipe from him earlier over on that Gully Wash map, so kind of set the bar, at least, for some BS in this game.
Ooh. Nicely taken out the soldier there, so not too much freedom on his part. Also, looks like Zilla might have been having some mild connection troubles now. Ties in a ping with the Israelis here.
Oh my, he is, he is warping, he is teleporting, he's short of just playing Tracer from Overwatch here. He is really going all over the place, but I guess maybe things might even out. It is a stalemate. I'm sure they can just buy some time before Salentes can finish his download of Pride and Prejudice.
We'll see. Ooh, he takes so much damage for it on Connor as well eventually. He just can't hold him off anymore.
He teleports away from the rockets. The Ubercharge comes in though, and he's trying to push with his team, but he's like 10 seconds behind the rest of them.
Okay, not too much can be done with that, unfortunately. Salentes has to feel how these Israelis have to like play on average here.
I mean, it feels like a whole new level of lag though. This guy is warping to just different stages of the map.
You don't have to tell me.
No, but this is way too different. Like, this is literally just teleporting everywhere. The Israelis just have a delay on things. They will control Gink in midair and get him to kind of stop his little bomb attempt onto Zangetsu, and the block just gets stronger.
Well, so that is actually really, really huge. They already pulled out the sniper for the stab into last, and it just won't be necessary. Connor just giving them that one almost for free, assuming they can make this push happen.
We are on that last point already. They are showing no respect for Salentes, who is... I think he's feeling a little bit better now, and he's got some stickies on point, and I mean... Oh wait, no. He is still warping like it's no tomorrow. Never mind. False alarm.
But
Connor's gone down! Connor's gone down to Shoal! Okay,
out of nowhere, once again, Connor just really wants them like
Jackie Legs gets the kill onto Zamat CV as well at the lower door. He might even get this scout, but Thunder's just too good for him. He just dances around all those rockets, and they do have heal advantage, but they've got a sniper as well. So as much as they probably want to play off the picks here, they haven't really got the nice little scout class to really walk all over Team Wales here.
Yeah, so decided against it eventually, not take the risk to lose Zangetsu with like 70%, instead just wait a bit. Sure, won't have the kills anymore, but hey, at least they have the UR. Assuming it's better than the last one, because the last one was really just like really preemptively popped. They got one kill, then popped it, and didn't find anything else anymore.
3, 2, 1, and we're in. The Ubercharge has popped off. Jackie Legs is on a mission. He's found one kill already. Just an easy collect kill, just waiting for him on top of the water tower, as he's just getting so much cap time as well. Salentes warps his way to the point and then warps his way to the death queue. It's 1-0 for Israel, just like the last game.
Yeah, much more convincing than the first one, and quite a bit more comparative to the last few pushes on Gully Wash. They had the focus, they knew what they wanted to die, and had it down really, really quickly.
Now, Dom, at what point do you kind of think to yourself, we need to get Salentes replaced here? He's just, he's like a 7th player on the squad of Israel. He's not helping them, he's more like hindering them. But there's still
that
just
would require a Welsh Devilman to appear from nowhere. I don't know if they have enough people for that.
Oh man, Nations Cup is truly a cruel game, as Lanza actually jumps in behind, doesn't want to take the confrontation straight ahead of them. They want to kind of go for some sort of denied exit play, and the scouts are just crawling on them now, just focusing all the damage and all the sort of point pressure. The scouts have just reversed it though, as they ran out of ammo. The scouts from Wales have reloaded and they want to get some revenge. They are split up by the remaining 3 players of Israel, and once they're split, their power is gone. Matt CV gets his way out of that midpoint, munches on a health pack, but it's still a lost mid for Team Wales.
Yeah, Israel focused the right side really, really hard, and it allowed Hugo to just sneak in from the left side, uncontested, get the medic, and at leave the scouts with a good amount of space to pressure some more, not too much to any greater success than we are having right now, but it granted themselves a nice little even Uber situation, so it could be much, much worse.
Okay, Coach Dum, Wales is on the phone here and they're like, we've got a laggy player, what do we do? Do we change classes? Do we change our style? What do you do to kind of compensate for Solentis' ping?
That's a tough decision. They can't play too demo-centric in an offensive situation, that's for sure. That just won't end itself to too much success, I would believe. So in fights, if somebody is allowed to die, it just gotta be Solentis, unfortunately.
Alright, Solentis, I think we'll have to set you to setlet mode, where we just put you on a doorway, we put you on a trap, and just pray that your ping collides with the enemy at the same time as they're entering a doorway. But he's instead just still playing that typical utilitarian demo man, just a lot of damage, holding this choke over on the sawmill side, and just doesn't care for the ping.
Well, sooner or later it's gotta be better for sure. In the meantime though, they are abusing the fact that they have almost used this demo man to have the stalemate going in their favor with a sniper instead.
Yep, Gink is hiding in cheese and nobody's really taking a look, so he's going to rotate round, go from lower, and this is usually you get one chance as a sniper to kind of shock the enemy team, and his one chance was spent firing a body shot onto that scout, and I mean, it's just not turned up anything. So with the surprise factor taken out, it's going to be a lot harder for Gink to make the kills, as they've repositioned Zangetsu appropriately to deal with that sniper sight line, and Gink is going to rotate all the way back, all the way to Sawmill, and see if he can get a pick there instead.
Yeah, but this is once again this kind of weird stalemate situation where Israel have shown to not be too creative about it. For as much as they want to play fast, breaking a stalemate hasn't so far been one of their greatest strengths here. So sure, they have the lead, but sooner or later, I feel like the longer this goes on, the better it will get for Wales.
Lanza will go down, trying to go for a jump in, but they're kind of showing the cards just a little bit over on Israel, as they will back off and give some the sniper some respect here. Jackie Legs will be the one to try and force him out, but nobody really wants to kind of be the one player to commit for that sniper though. And maybe that's a safe play, because they are kind of using him as bait as well as the pick class over on this Welsh squad.
Yeah, but right now, sniper showdown, it will be Ging versus Lancer. Depends on who can hit the better shots here against each other would help as well. It's not just one pick, but also one that allows you to have a lot more freedom.
I don't think he's aware of his presence here, so this should be kind of a shock for Gink if he gets a snipe. Oh, there we go. Gink finds the snipe onto Versus Dome, and with the Demoman down, that's actually a massive pick for them. They could pick a door, or any door, and just start barreling in, start pushing the issue, but I guess maybe they're a little bit worried about the sort of handicap that Solentis is on right now. They even get the pick onto Gink as well, so the sniper factor has been taken out of the game, and I don't know how, but Solentis is still found to kill despite getting some lag here and there.
Yeah, they just nicely put him there to support the sniper. Didn't protect his life, but got the counter frag, and that's all they needed here to just use the space further on, get themselves into mid without Jackie Legs on the table anymore.
They've still got Lanza on this sniper, so they could still kind of hold this point from an arm's length and be considered quite dangerous, but they don't want to actually go for it over on Wales. I remind you, Wales, you are around down, so, and you do have the midpoint. It's kind of on you, buddy.
Yeah, they're just taking their time really nicely, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. They're playing the stalemate a little bit just safer. Nobody has, like, the ones losing their lives in these stalemates are much more so Israeli players here, Welsh playing much more around survival and just around the sniper, not letting anybody overextend too much, besides the sniper, who has to detect shots. Should takes advantage of this, just walked up through window, King didn't see it coming, and Fun's not there fast enough to protect his life.
You weren't wrong, Dom. He was taking shots, but he was taking enemy shots. He goes down, and Lanza will actually take a actual shot onto Matt TV, gets the kill as well. Lanza gets another kill on Solentis, with no warp will save you today, as they're going in. 3 players have forced the Welsh team. Zangetsu's come in to kind of milk a little bit of that Uber and pop off as well. The chase has begun for Israel to get on top of Wales, and they want to kind of turn around and start a meat grinder here in the sawmill appropriately, and they get one kill, but it kind of snaps Israel back into a sort of sane position and just go back for the midpoint instead.
And that was a great little bit of movement there by Funds to not die to all these rockets and sticks coming his way in the saw area. Just really nicely he survived that, got Connor out as well, and could escort him further into second. Both medics still up, slight Uber at Zangetsu. I don't know where they are, but it's not like huge, it's just a matter of who popped first in that Uber exchange really.
Anza is really playing this sawmill and hoping to get a DuMmTm pick, but or maybe poke from this window as well, but the sightlines are just not favourable for him, and the scouts are even bullying him as well with some sort of chip fire to just really bring down his accuracy stat.
Yeah, we'll see. They definitely underestimated him a little bit. He just didn't hit the shots early enough in this match. So eventually, once he had the opportunity, he just completely picked them apart. 4K, I believe it was, until we got to this position.
Oh my, the sick play between Jackie Legs and Lanza. Oh, Jackie Legs will get killed, and Funds just takes the fight straight into them, gets a double kill drop against Israel here, and because they're trying to pick up the pieces with this bad Uber, Verse overextends himself, and he's going to go down as well now. Zangetsu's got nobody to really back off with. He did have DuMmTm for just a mere moment, but he gets killed. Zangetsu walks out alive, but without healing anybody, he's good as dead.
Yeah, should people use just this chaotic moment really nicely to try to take something from the flank? All he got was unfortunately the laggy demo man, Connor cleaning him up for his troubles. Unfortunately, we'll give them a lot of momentum forward here into the second point.
Nice health pack for Jackie Legs. That's going to bring him back to health and give him an opportunity to get some damage in. Actually gets the crater against Hugo as well. Shame, as they're still making this push in on second point, and it's looking a lot scarier now. Lanza's going in for some damage, and not just some damage, but a kill as well, and the scouts are going to farm what was left over. The scout does go down for Israel from just a stray pipe from Solentes, but he's going to go down. Funds wants to turn around this fight. They're taking the Uber in. It's a full solo YOLO Uber by Funds. He's taken one kill. He wants a third. Hugo is intervening with this solo YOLO, but he is going to find the kill eventually, and that boy is on an 8-kill streak. Respect the Uber, respect the Welshman.
And that's just another case of just offense being the only way. These Israelis know how to defend just really aggressively into the second point, and it theoretically worked out nicely. They got a lot of kills, got them out, but they just completely forget about the Uber situation, trying to just take this further and further than they actually could afford to.
I think Funds has just won himself a lifetime supply of solo Ubers from now on from Connor. Between the previous Uber and this Uber Dum, he's been the sole sort of space maker, kill maker, damage maker, just the game winner for this team.
Hopefully Samzy will take note of that early enough, or he will be surprised at land to just get dropped every Uber.
Okay, so we're going in with another Uber. This time it's not quite a solo YOLO, but it's a bit of ulti-duo sort of demo dual Uber, but the dual Uber is looking just a bit more spectacular for Israel as they just collapse on the remaining players on this point. It was close, as they got a lot of cap time on there, but it's Snake Water, baby. You just need to do that trademark play of just jump on the point from the spawn area and then clean up with the rest of your classes. Trademark. TF2.
That was so sad on the second point. I definitely agreed with what Connor and I think Matt, it was the scout, were doing in lobby, just trying to stay there and let them walk into them, kill them in lobby instead of just backing all the way out. It was a 4v4. It's not like Israel had much of an advantage in that fight, and they can't afford to lose anybody on the last point just for pure backup potential. But they were so split up. Two were just not in the fight while the other two wanted to do what I just explained, and it just got punished so greatly in a 4v2 fight. Hugo on mid.
Oh my, that was
quite
close. That was pretty close. I'm sure if Zangetsu had the Uber there, he would have popped it, because that was a bit scary in my eyes. I can't imagine what Zangetsu's are like.
Zangetsu still has to be careful here, gets spammed a lot. He's not full FP until after he's taking the pack here. But eventually, with this full Uber ad that they still have after all is said and done, they are able to take second really easily and have it for last ready as well.
They're in, and they're quite a ways in as well. They're already on last point. It's a shame they didn't cap second point in time for DuMmTm to get some good cap time on the point. They're all just ignoring it. They want to get some kills instead, and Shaw's just kind of, by consequence, fighting around it, has capped some time on it, but I don't really see any sort of like point play or any sort of prioritization for this point, and there we go, they'll play it now as they kind of just realize what those glowing red squares at the bottom of their screen are. It's 2-0 for Israel. Very strong start for them.
It might have been even just one right decision to make there, seeing as Connor was that close to getting Uber, having those kills before he get. So the blue Uber just couldn't really do anything with 3 versus 6, and they could just stay in on the last point, didn't even need to escape in the first place.
It's another mid, third mid, and I've kind of lost count who's been winning these, as I think it's a bit of give and take between both of these teams, but let's see what the cost of the toss of the coin will work this time, as they go aggressive very early for Wales and they just send Lanza behind. It's been working out for them, with Lanza just kind of denying them this exit and just kind of shooting them from the back instead of committing in for a bomb. It's just like a recipe for an easy mid.
Yeah, the aggression not paying off too much for Wales. The Solis just denied pretty early. They got good damage, but defensively speaking, and that's sadly a little bit of a rarity for Israel. That was really strong. They just denied everything they needed to, so I guess it was kept safe the entire time. And why need to defend too much if all you need is just a little bit defense on the mid and aggression everywhere else?
So they got the overcharge advantage, and now Connor has got about 70% deficit against the Israel. So maybe he might have enough time to build it back, especially if they keep taking their time like they do on this Israel squad. But just there we go. There's the Uber in now. They will just stick with what they know. Send Jackie Legs on the left-hand side, but it's a trap. They actually had some trap stickies on the floor waiting for him. The scout decides to fight a heavy weapons guy on his own, and that ended just like you expected it to, and Wales are just not even faltering at all to this Uber.
And by the looks of it, Sil's ping has come back to normal. He's jumping aggressively into people, into scouts as well, so seems that he's back on track as well. Maybe just what they need now with 10 minutes left to come back from this 2-0 deficit.
They like to make it hard for themselves, Team Wales. Let's see if they can make this comeback. It's almost like a reverse sort of state from our Gully Wash match, as it's now Wales trying to kind of climb uphill, but it's looking strong to start off with. This is potential for a heartbreaker round as they push them all the way onto their second point already.
Yeah, if they don't watch out and stay there for too long, it could get ugly, and Sengetsu is still on the point, not backing off quite yet, as this push is slowly coming forward. But on the flip side, they don't know that yet. They don't want to use either. They don't expect that to be too much, so they do give them the time to go back into lobby and be able to just play it safe retrospectively.
Israel, oh my, okay, actually they will get a kill from that sort of complete give and all take to Wales. They popped in the Uber now, they've got their own Uber charge just in the nick of time. They counter their Uber with theirs, and let's see if they can chase these kills over on Israel. They find 2 on these doorways, that includes the medic though, so they've got some heals. They can start blobbing up and just pushing on to the second point, but in the back of their minds they need to think about scouts and DuMmTm, but yeah, DuMmTm making a back cap here. Salentes actually gets caught out in the corner by Scholl, who is fully aware of back cappers right now.
Scholl was also a good half second away from just having a bad jump and cratering instead of just landing safely there. So he gets a little bit lucky, still under spam, but behind the corner there he is safe, gets his arrow. They have Uber ad, they don't have much of it, but seeing what we have seen here so far, they not going to stop going forward now.
Yeah, they're trying to focus Verse and Lanza on this left-hand side. They will find Lanza, but they won't find Verse. Oh, Verse is so low! And they just can't get past the uphill struggle for Israel, and they've just turned this around here on Wales completely.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need, just a strong defense against this team, trying to take this non-Uber. They were well aware of what's happening now. Kept themselves alive really nicely, nice shots coming up by everybody, still with just a straight pipe across the grass area, getting the medic, getting themselves this big Uber advantage for the last point, and that's exactly what they need in this situation.
Is it a poor choice of door here, Dum? Do you think if they went for a safer route, like maybe kitchen, where there's just a bit more cover and a bit of a faster track to that midpoint, it would have been a bit favourable for them, or is that just a destined push to lose?
It depends a little bit where the enemy team is, and given that nobody was really watching Kitchen too much, it might have worked, but the push into last is coming in. Struggling a bit with the Pyro, gets the sentry. Jacklex dies early as well.
That point could cap if someone just stands on the goddamn point. Nobody's addressing it. Connor will be the one to address it now, and look at all these players flood in from Israel. It's so easy for them. It's like Connor was toying with his food, and now it's 2 Wales, but actually it should be 2 Israel, but Wales get that round.
Yeah, that was weird, like you mentioned, just the point play coming really late, and the moment Connor stepped on the point, they all realized, oh wait, that's how you push into last, and then suddenly everybody just storms forward, gets the last few kills, Gink just collapses onto the medic, and just took them a while.
Alright, 1-2 in this match here, 6 minutes left. It's still quite comfortable for Israel, and I can only assume that this is their map pick as well, so if they end the match here and here, it is more than deserved for Team Wales, as Lanza's doing his typical Lanza thing on this mid, staying behind, kind of picking them from these back doorways, but they just opt to go aggressive into Israel instead, and that's just another sort of play that they were hoping they would make. They kind of aggress into them, and they just have to stand still and just land their rockets, land their shots, and they have landed. They have landed this midpoint as well.
And that was such a sad little thing there at the end, with Sil just trying to bait people around the corner for Funds to get A, his pack in the first place to survive, and B, maybe get a kill with it. But Funds just, with the poor choice, didn't see that Zangetsu was with Jacklex just around the corner there, so he tried to kill the soldier instead. And it just took too long, and he didn't have the shots in time.
With this second point on lockdown and 100% Uber advantage for Israel, it's looking like a third round on the board for Team Red, as they're pushing in from lower now.
Yeah, let's see if they can make it work. We've seen how it can be done by Wales just a minute ago, so here it comes, but he's trying to find some good damage. The soldiers are quick targets, just left him on the left side, and Punch just walks towards that as well. Be taken out so quickly, sure on the point. The heavy is there, the demo is there, but it might just not be enough anymore.
It's worked much better this time. What do you do to deal with a heavy weapons guy? You just ignore him, Dum. If he's not contributing anything to the team, he is a dead man on that blue squad, and he wasn't doing anything. Matt was already spun out, slowly waddling his way to the point, but no one dared take that fight until they had 6v3 over against Wales.
Yeah, really unfortunate, and so unfortunate that the flank just got completely walked over as well. You don't really expect to see that all too much.
Alright, it's another mid, 4 minutes left, definitely possible. It's TF2, and Gink is going straight in. He's going to go down, and he's created some space for his team. Funds is in the thick of things, and he's getting some good damage into Shull, as they're taking a scout 1v1 in the back lines. Funds will win out on that, and because he's kind of drawing ahead in other places, it allows the rest of Wales to kind of blob up on this mid. Oh, Hugo denies Lanzo his bomb against Connor, and he's brought low, but he isn't going down. All's well for Team Wales.
Yeah, just the M performance here, taking them apart, works out brilliantly. They needed a mid like this for a long time coming now, and here this finally will allow them to just get a lot of momentum going forward all the way to the last point with the Nomad.
So, in time of need, they always resort to the Lanza sniper, and he's been quite hot. He's been impressive. Sure, definitely the sniper of the match so far. As we had a sightline on Connor, but Connor was just too quick on the trigger finger. He's going to switch back to Soldier now and see if he can pick up some sort of rotation kills, some spawner kills on to Matt's EV, and he will get that kill, but he's just easily replaced with Gink, and there's that second round for Team Wales.
Yeah, nothing much new here, just everything they needed to do, much like the last time they were here. Getting everything they needed, the point play, the sentry, everything relatively quickly. The demo, most importantly, like really early, I believe, was a little bit off positioning, where he probably should have been much safer, much further back. So no sticks at all, making it all the more easy for Wales to play the point.
You're probably quaking in your boots if you're over on Israel right now. They've got the momentum over on Wales, and they even get the first blood against Lanza to start off the mid. Gink has denied them the Sawmill health pack as well, and Delgin is going to have to tank a lot of heals to actually take this fight to Gink, and he gets the suicide anyway onto the poor lad, and Zangetsu is the only hope for Israel, and he's being chased now and won't be locked down by Wales, but I was kind of hoping that there would be a bit more I don't know, kind of closed out by Israel in these final minutes of the game. As Hugo, he's going in for the bombs. Zangetsu won't pop off. They throw some pipes. They even throw a scout as well. Still don't find the kill. And they, I mean, yeah, I guess they were just really eager to find the Zangetsu kill. Maybe they took a peek into the crystal ball, realized that this medic is going to be the one to turn things around. He pops off his Uber now. Let's see if the Oracle has decreed his fate, as we are going into a second fight, and the Jackie Legs just kind of shoots the ground, gets a scout kill, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as they're still playing off this point, taking the fight there, gets the second point, but it's kind of compromised the position, made it easy for Wales to kind of fight around the corners and play off them, where they're just out in the open, just easy prey for them, and they're just going to have to give up that second point now just as quickly as they capped it.
So, nice little soldier exchange, Hugo and Lancer just completely destroying each other around the corner there. And what a messy fight that was. Like, at the end of that, the moment the corner died, everybody on both teams was just incredibly weak, and it just came down to a little bit of DM to make it technically even numbers, but with only one damage class on Israel, so they really couldn't afford to take the fight without taking a huge risk, which is losing the medic with just a minute and a half left.
Yeah, I can see why they want to just be a bit aggro here on Wales here, why they're going a bit balls to the walls with the decision making. They have to make this round count, or at least this push count. There's just a minute left, and Matt CV is caught as the outlier, the weak spot in this sort of blob of Wales, and they're getting picked off one by one. Funds is trying to pick up the slack, but there's just so many red players to kill. Gink is caught behind them. Zangetsu will pop the Uber to kind of keep things under control here. He's trying to hide above the point, but he actually gets a direct onto the scout, but he is invulnerable. He won't go down to any rocket, and it's 49 seconds left. They could make the push out here for Israel, but they could also just kind of drain out the time as well.
That was so unfortunately. Gink's jump just was the second off to get like everything there. He gets just able to get the Uber in time. They capped a point, but now they're stuck in this fight here that they really can't back out of anymore, so it's just a matter of damage. Zangetsu dies so quickly.
Salentes giving out some damage. They were kind of, Hugo was kind of kite him into this sort of death pit, and they've taken the brunt of it. There's a load of damage coming out from these explosive classes of Wales now, and with just one soldier left, Gink on that last point, a scout to back him up as well. There's no spawners here. It's 3-3, 9 seconds left. It's a golden cap.
They only wouldn't have pushed there. They must have felt so desperate to get the second point as a buffer, but the cap, the spawn time even is just so unfavorable coming into the second point as the defending team that it's just generally not worth it, and instead just like pull up a sentry, pull up a heavy instead, and and maybe have like one person try to cap if they can in time, just have a scout around there and everybody else stays on last.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if they just cap that point, immediately back out, I can see the point of the buffer. Just some pointless waste of time, and my God, they're going into it quickly. They do not want to waste time. They've got families and wives to return to after this game, and they want to close this out here, Wales, and Israel just want to get started. They actually will ready up now, as I was just baited before, because I always get baited these pre-ready ups. Okay, we're going for real now. It's ETF2L Nations Cup number 7. It's Chris Cass bringing you all of the action with your friends Turbo, DuMmTm and Wiethoofd, and it's our golden cap of our second map. It's game point for Wales. Israel, it's all down to you. Let's see if you can fight back against the monumental titan of Wales, as Gink will reveal himself again to start off with, as always, and he's bought just space and time for his team, some damage as well. Hugo's cut off the other exit way, takes out the kill onto Verse, and the scouts will find the soldiers and scouts remaining. It's biblical here over on this midpoint for Wales, as they have the Uber charge as well coming up for Connor.
Yeah, kind of like with pushing the last for Israel on Gullywash, there's a really stark contrast here between the mid-fights for Wales in the first and second half of this game so far, and as time goes on here, the soldier bombs on the mid-fights have been so much more impactful for Wales. It's a huge difference. Gink and Hugo getting so many more kills and damage compared to the first few minutes, and it just really goes to show how much of an impact they can have when they get what they want.
I mean, they have an Uber charge here. They can go in with the Uber, but they're just second-guessing themselves, and second-guessing in TF2 is quite cruel, as they've got a lot of Uber built for Israel here. They send the soldiers in to block against this scout point play, and they revealed all the positions now on Israel. They just need to either play off the point or try and get some damage and kills onto them, and they're doing a very good job on Israel to actually kind of dance around blocking the point but also fighting them off the point. And Funz is, good god, just showing some dance moves of his own. He actually gets into the face of Zangetsu, will go down to the bleed of a poor Christmas bauble, but it was still impressive to watch him survive 10 seconds longer than he should have.
But he delayed them for so long, and the second push is just kind of already fallen apart before it even started. The only thing going for them is to keep it behind lines, finds himself at corner. He has a pack, but the rocket from behind will deal the final damage, and that is just everything falling apart slowly and surely for Wales here.
Okay, the play's been made. Build up that Uber, keep Zangetsu alive, make the push onto second, don't get backcapped. That is the playbook for Israel at this very moment, and step one complete. They've taken out Salentes, the demo man, the one that's locking down all these doorways. He even gets back to the waiting arms of his medic as well. Very good soldier, that Jackie Legs.
Yeah, and now it's Israel times to return the favor here. They have it in their hands to end it right now. They have so much momentum here. 3 kills coming to mid will get them there easily to begin with, and from there on out they have the Uber for second, and depending on what happens there, it could already be curtains.
They have the Uber charge. They can keep going with this if they just look at their, I guess, I don't know, their sort of aggressive mantra in their hearts and keep pushing forward. They could use this Uber into the core. They will pop it up now. It's all on Delgin, and Delgin will find the Salentes kill. He's going to take a scalp 1v1. Actually goes back and makes it a 2v1, and the flank is busy picking up the scraps. Been pushed out to the second point. They get the second point because no scraps have revealed themselves on that remaining sort of post-Uber fight, as they've got an Uber charge still on Wales, but they haven't got any points anymore. Still a quite nice situation for Israel.
Yeah, the Uber just too weak, and Zangetsu too far in at the end of it. Lancer tries to be cheeky, get another kill. There's still sticky traps, so maybe they can catch out Connor, but they need to get lucky here that nobody is aware of any of that going on. Funz, however, plays it safe, sees the sticks before Connor even turns around to get into the second point. So nice little patience there by Wales, just to not lose out on anything here and be stuck on last any longer.
Okay, so they're making the push into second point. There is some sort of refugees in the sawmill, but they will be quarantined and controlled. Jackie Legs, Shull have gone down, and the Lanza as well. You can definitely call that a win for Wales, as they even got their Uber charge still from this second push. They could probably get the second point of Israel, excuse me, and have this Uber charge ready for last.
Yeah, the question is was for Israel, I should say, how much they can actually make happen on second in the first place. And they probably figured the situation is good enough, and as we saw, 90% might be close, but not close enough to really contest that anymore against the full Uber charge on Wales on second. So they just decided, well, let's just throw everything we have at corner. We'll be up for last in time, where we would be anyway, regardless of how it would be happening on second.
Okay, it's been a very back and forth between these two teams. Both of them have had a shot at each other's last, and it's now Wales' turn to fight off Israel, as it's match point. Need I remind you, Dom, for Wales, it could be all over in a flash of an eye. A flash in the pan, I should say. Way idioms.
Well, we'll see. Snipers out like you mentioned, and now just a matter of who hits the shots first here. So far, obviously a single sniper always has a little bit of the advantage here, but that doesn't need to mean anything.
Okay, so they're just taking their time here, picking a door, looking at which way they want to make this push happen. Funz is in on this left. Burst has allowed him to get in, and he's kind of called for Ging to come in with the bomb. Gets one sort of okay rocket onto Zangetsu, but sort of okay doesn't cut it here in these final minutes of this game, potentially.
Yeah, and they need to be careful now. They surely want to give some space to Israel just to not be in any danger of getting Connor into any trouble here, but they can't let it happen too much, otherwise Keeper will just have such free reign over the second point, which is a really, really long sideline.
Now, they've actually learned from the best. They're going to play a spy on this last point, showing the 7-way of winning a grand competition. Maybe they can just get a sneaky backstab and just maybe even get a back cap as well.
I'm surprised it has taken us this long to see a spy in this game, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess it's been so fast paced that usually spies kind of get just outrun in this game. There's not really a chance for him to kind of make his play, but he's in now.
Burst
bumps into him. That is a confirmed spy, and he's getting peppered down by the sniper, and poor choice of positioning by Gink there, as that was definitely a an expected place for Burst to travel.
Like a dream scenario I want to see one day is just people like finding a spy, but the other team has a soldier so close that they just bomb in off of that, and 5 people shooting a spy and the soldier just gets in for free. It would be great to see, but that's like so luck dependent to have everything go right there. That's probably really unlikely. On the other hand, though, speaking of soldiers, Lancer's using the opportunity greatly. Everybody careful, but everywhere but on Chi, so he gets in behind for free for now. Fans might be knowing that he's behind. He does now for sure. So they know he's there, and how much can he still get out of this then?
Okay, well, still very quiet, just waiting on somebody to make the move here between both of these teams. You do have Lanzos in behind, but he's kind of taking it with a very cautious footing. He's poking around, trying to find some intel on the enemy team, plan his route accordingly, but he just doesn't want to commit.
Yeah, he really needs something that distracts Wales to get a good opening. So far all he can do is spam, just so that we can lobby and maybe something can happen with 30 damage extra, but it's not
Legs.
enough.
He's gone down with the pocket down and a soldier behind. That's technically a 2-pick advantage for the rest of Wales, and they go in with the Uber, they exchange it out. Connor is stayed in a little too long, doesn't realise there's a sniper with his watchful eye on him, or his watchful bullet, as he will go down. And there is just a bit of sort of messy TF2 in these hallways and corridors of Snakewater as they're trying to transition this into a second push for Israel. But they need to worry in the back of their heads that there could be a back gap here.
Yeah, currently they don't really have that great numbers, so despite all that went wrong there, Wales still got kills in the end to just force them back here, not be able to contest the second point all too great. If they did, they would have been completely outnumbered and risked the backup as well, seeing as there's too little people to actually keep track of every entrance into last. So in the end, all these doubts in their minds are completely warranted, and they back off back to last.
Oh boy, it's going to be one of those golden caps, isn't it, Dum? I'm just saying this so it gets quicker. I swear, every time I say this sentence, the teams just insta-cap the point after. So we'll see what kind of team has bestowed my my lucky charm, as we're just waiting for someone to go forward, as they do have the advantage over on Israel, but I think they don't really trust that advantage anymore. It's just too much time has been given.
Yeah, so far all that really happened is Lancer checking a little bit on Spy, not seeing anything out of the ordinary, so he just decides to play a sniper for a little bit more here. Had great success earlier, and if there's ever a time to shine for a sniper, it's now. It's a golden cap, and it's when you're pinned on last and need to leave. Celentes gets into the lobby area.
Celentes really wanted that kill onto Jackie Legs and didn't realise that Jackie Legs has some pretty good rockets under his sleeve as well, some nice directs, and Demerman down is a much scarier pick than a soldier down. They're going to push in off of this. Funds and Matt CV are just kind of going in on their own, fighting against the core, and the core is actually popped off their safety mechanism of that scared of Funds, as they will back up with the Uber charge now, and player advantage dictates that it will be given to Israel, but I don't know here. They've kept Connor alive, and Celentes is back in the fight. They could hold on to this midpoint, make a turnaround play, but they just get respawners now. Celentes needs to make sure he doesn't get focused too quickly on this mid-fight.
The damage is coming in, but also for Israel getting Connor immediately worse, the only casualty so far, and they already got this much space. So gets in so much trouble with Matt CV though. He just needs to hit one more good shot. Hugo comes in to help. Matt CV completely ignores Medic.
They get the kill onto Zangetsu though. King gets a kill onto Lanza as well. It is an eventual wipe, but I mean, they get the pick onto Zangetsu. That's going to kind of shunt the momentum for Israel.
Yeah, Uber's situation is completely off track now from what it was coming into this midpoint. Both medics going down here will make things a little bit more awkward. Connor, however, having to have people much quicker here after respawn, so he will get at least like a little 10% advantage. Not a huge difference, but it's a safety net nonetheless.
I mean, Zangetsu even had to wait for the spawn to kind of catch up to him as well, so there was some time lost for his team, but I don't think Kono is prioritising building right now. They just want to get this second point because nobody's really came to defend it, so 3 point for them. They've got also a foothold into stalemating off of this their second point as well, so a nice gift from Israel.
We'll see. The stalemate will most likely continue. Shoot Kippel this time the one playing sniper here, not Lancer again. They kind of switched around there a little bit earlier as well. We'll see who can deliver the goods here. And on the other side, Wales just kind of confident in their own ability to do it without an off-class. We'll see how that works out. They had great success with the sniper themselves, but eventually Lancer just reigns supreme in comparison.
Alright, let's see. I'm firmly on clicking to find the Shulkan. There we go. Let's see what he can deliver. As he can't seem to find anybody. I don't know why I switched to his cam. Let's go to the Uber instead in Sawmill. There's an Uber in Sawmill? What the hell? Okay, man. Weird exchange to say they're waiting on some sniper picks for Israel, but maybe Wales were the one to pop that off.
Hard to say, especially now that Evos are dead even pretty much, but doesn't matter too much if Jackie Lex just gets a nice little pick onto an overextending demo man here. That will grant them a little bit more space on entry. See if they can make something happen. They have to deal with so much damage themselves on entry as well, and Flank is trying to take some liberties here, but in the end it's the sniper having the goods for Israel.
Uh-oh, they've boxed in a dangerous area as well. They're out in the open, they're kind of fodder for Israel. They're going to just have to do their best sort of dodging impression and DM to kind of get their way out of this, and they're doing a good job of kind of evening things out, but for every even out, Shul gets an even back as he gets a snipe kill back against some of these Welshmen with just Hugo and Matt CV left and the entire team bum rushing last. I don't think they're going to hold on to this. Connor needs to switch off to a combat class, I think, if he wants to contribute to his team. Oh no, Matt CV is the only one that can kind of contribute. Oh, he's going to go down. It's 1-0. It's over for Wales.
Well, not quite yet. We're going to a map 3 here, which will be a process, everybody's favorite as far as most people are concerned. So we'll see who will be the better ones here. Once again, a really, really close game with just nice little adaptations over the game of how people like do different kind of things. And I mentioned how the mid-fights went better and better for Wales as time went on, and the stalemates went better and better for Israel as time went on in comparison.
Dom, talk to me about these two teams. Is this a shocking thing I should be seeing in TF2? Some people might be lacking context if you're like an American viewer, for example. Is this like a big upset for Israel against Wales?
It's kind of a weird one to really judge, because you have like these like well-known Prem level names on Wales that really don't play too much together besides Funds and Connor, I suppose, and Israel is just still a really good team, but a little bit below that in like general skill-wise. They've run right now, making 3rd place, I believe, this season, but have been playing for quite a while together. So it's just different, like kind of experience they have in this game, like clashing against each other here.
All right. So was there some? Okay, we're pulling up some regular logs now because golden cap logs. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Dumb. Those golden cap logs aren't really nice to look at, so we'll look at the more competitive ones, the 30-minute ones that we like to digest, as it's showing how close it is and how much work Funds is putting in for his team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a secret that he's one of the best scouts in Europe, and he just goes to town here once again, 33 in 12. That's a big performance and big damage as well, so it's not just all cleanup. He certainly did a lot of work this game for his team, but then closely followed again by just pretty much all of Israel. Jackie Lex, Blockmeister, aka Delgen, and Schulkeeper, all close by with all over 20.
Now, we kind of forgot about it, Dom, because it was dominating most of the first half of the game, and there was a nice second half to digest on, but Celentes was struggling a bit with a bit of ping. And I'm just going to boldly ask Dom, did that ping lose them the game?
I don't know. It at worst cost them definitely some time. They were lucky that it, for the most part, happened in a relatively stalemate situation, but not exclusively. And in that sort of like once it gets into like faster paced fights and you just teleport around, sure, you're slightly harder to hit. I think we had one instance of that, but at the same time, you're still easier to hit, and it's easy for you to hit anything in return. So every time it went into a little bit more of a messy fight, it just like hurt them quite a bit. Yeah, I would definitely say.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that it could just as well be a nice benefit to them?
Well, I mean, it was, at least in one instance, there was this little Matrix moment where Sil got shot at by, I think it was Lancer, and just out of nowhere he just like moves like a few steps to the side.
Yeah, I remember that disgusting moment. As we've got some medic stats here for you, and a bit more. It's looking a little bit more efficient for Connor, showing off why he is a prem medic. Oh, yay! The advanced logs. I do like these. Okay. Conversion rates. Oh boy. So the conversion rates are so much nicer for Israel this time around. They're actually converting quite nicely on this Snakewater map. I am going to make a healthy assumption that was their map pick. So with that, they had the kind of, forego knowledge that they were going to get a comfortable match for them. They had probably some plays under their belt, some set pushes going into it.
Yeah, as time went on, they really figured out the stammates much more and were able to just take point after point and worked really well eventually. And Wales in comparison just had also so much less good opportunities a lot of times where they really could match happen.
The golden cap conversion rate is my. We don't see this too often in
it was a
TF2.
13-minute golden cap, so there better be something to see there.
A 0% conversion rate.
Oh, well, only into last. Who would have been surprised by that?
I mean, it is a golden cap. If you convert, you kind of win, don't you?
Yeah, and it's still, look at that, 33%, that it still took them so long to get it right on this round as well.
Dumb. I think we're going live, buddy. I think we need to put away the stat sheets and the mathematical breakdowns. We're going into our process map. It's ETF2L Nations Cup number 7. TurboTabs, Dum, Wiethoofd, and Wales and Israel are in here. They've swapped teams, a bit of a t-shirt exchange for both of these squads. It's going to be a bit confusing, but I'm sure you can still follow it. Red team is Wales, blue team is Israel. Gotcha.
And blue team is pretty dead at the moment. 4 down, both scouts and soldies taken apart here, and the chase is on.
Get destroyed! Get out of here, funds. Bye-bye. See you later. See you on YouTube. My days.
That will be a little unfortunate. They probably would have liked to have gotten the med in this whole situation, but that will end it preemptively. Still get to second for now. Spam is there and trying to get success, but not too much of that happening quite yet, so not much of a contestant for Israel. Still, Uber's up, so they don't have to be tremendously scared, and they want to keep up the pressure. They have the sniper, but they're all really, really close.
Yep. Let's see. It's kind of still up to Wales. They've got the firm control of this game just straight off the bat. And Salentes, he's just giving all this room for free. He's just walking into Zangetsu. It actually gets an Uber placed on top of him as well. Jackie Legs wants to herd him back into the fight, and he might weasel his way out of it. Salentes does just inch around back into the safety of his second point, but the rest of Wales playing off this space and capping this last point. Jackie Legs will come back, but he'll just come back to die. It's 1-0 already done.
Yeah, nothing to see here in terms of 0% conversion rate so far, and quite a difference with that compared to Snakewater, just really consequent of everything they were given.
But I'm pretty sure that med frag was worth it. That was a pretty sick med frag. I mean, what is a round in Nation Cups? Come on. It's YouTube. Alright, we're going into our second mid. And Lanza's got a quick rollout. Gink is a little bit late, but he gets a nicer finish. He gets a kill on Diverse, and usually that's a death sentence for any team. And Israel see it as an opportunity to just go balls to the wall straight into Connor, get him taken out of the equation, and the scouts just reign free to just walk all over the map. Matt CV is still there, but he doesn't want to take the fight against a buff scout plus medic heals.
Yeah, Wade just being a little bit too confident after that one early kill onto the demo, which still in the end was pretty much just a trade, so they used the opportunity on even numbers, with everybody still being trying to get really aggressive there on Wales. Just have the bombs come in, really nice double bomb between Jackie Lex's Lancer to get the medic immediately, and some more on the top of that. Scouts taking all the control after that, and they still want more of that. Verse getting Salentes here as the sniper is unable to find a shot. Hans has to move back while they're taking all the ground they can all the way to last.
the anger is not just on the battlefield here, Dom. There's some anger in the chat as well. You have both teams kind of typing to each other while there's a push happening. Everybody's busy keyboard warring it up, and they're capping the point in front of their eyes. Zangetsu comes to intervene on this sort of crashing of this last point here, and Wales have got nowhere to kind of turn their back to. They've got an uber charge now from Connor, but I think everybody was paying a bit too much attention to the chat there, Dom.
Yeah, and Zangetsu is getting chased as well by Funds. Lancer comes to help. Funds doesn't have anything left besides his pistol, but it doesn't matter.
He might turn this around. He actually takes the health pack from Funds, and Funds is like, okay, I needed that health pack.
Well, still, he survived that for long enough to still be able to get the kill with the nice little TF2 RNG pistol, so still nicely done by Funds. And they want to contest, but they can't really. There's so much damage coming their way, all the way to choke. 2 kills going their way, no scouts anymore. Means a whole lot less denial, and with Jackie X just now spawning as well, there's a lot of damage lacking on this midpoint for them. But Lancer's hiding, maybe backup, maybe just a play onto Connor.
I think he's going to get this play onto Connor as well. Nobody's got their eyes on the computer room, and Connor will surf 1 rocket, 2 rocket, dodging 3 and 4, and mission accomplished for the Welshman. He is going to keep himself alive and keep the hopes of his team alive going into this second round.
Yeah, that was really crucial by Connor, really nicely done. Solving something that you really don't expect isn't it all too easy, so we'll grant his team to not lose out on this Uber situation. It is even, they don't have any tremendous advantage here, but they would have been in such a bitter spot if they did lose this Uber.
God, that bloody ball is just so annoying to watch. I can't imagine what it's like to play against. Connor's going to pop in now from the lower door, just get things rolling here, but it may be a bit too early as he gets caught off from Solentes and doesn't even get a chance to use the rest of his Uber on anybody else, and Zangetsu just uses his Uber just for good measure to keep everybody healthy, alive, and just happy to push into this midpoint as they're on the back foot. Wales, they're using all their ammo and resources to get out, and their resources are fully depleted. Their main resource being their health. They're dead. They're down. They're losing midpoint as well. Funds wants to turn around against Blockmeister. Blockmeister gets blocked on this second point as well, but they still win the war. They've got that midpoint.
Yeah, and they still have some kills going in. He spawns for the rest of Wales just now coming in. Want to mildly contest, but they are outnumbered for now. The spawns not really in position to do much. Either Hugo getting juggled around takes the opportunity to make it a good one.
My.
And it's good enough.
The pipe from Solentes will get the follow-up onto Zangetsu there. Brought down so low by the Hugo bomb and cleaned up by Mr. Lag himself, and they're still trying to get this second point under the noses of Wales, but they will punish them, and God, the overextension, it continues. Lanzer's going to go down and back the other way, Dom.
Yeah, just going back and forth, but nobody gets too much of an opportunity on the last here, just once so far. And that ended relatively quickly, so if the pace goes on here, every time we get to last, maybe those will be the important moments, but so far neither team lets the other really get to have a go on it.
The difference this time is Lanza is not hiding in their PC. There will be no Connor jumping about over on this midpoint, so let's see if there's some turnaround picks, maybe some sort of kind of cute play from Shull as he's coming in behind. They all use the Uber quite early and they get the pick onto Zangetsu, so this is a very, very nice Uber. I mean, it's going to delay things going into last point because they now need to clean up second point. They're still actually losing players though. The post-Uber fight is dreadful from Wales. Connor's going to go down, and this gives Zangetsu back his Uber sort of reign as he's going to respawn just a bit quicker, and as the dust settles, it's still Israel's point.
Yeah, that was so strange. MapTV just got completely denied by, I believe it was Jackie Lax to even get into the fight, while Gink was just really far forward, already wanting to get into last, and it just left them completely outnumbered on second set because Israel just doesn't know any holding back.
Look at Matt CV, he's a man's man. He's just still looking them in the eye despite the player advantage on this point and kind of peppering them. He's saying, get off my point, don't you dare get on there. The reinforcements make him a bit more intimidating now as they get a pick to kind of really dissuade the rest of Wales, I mean Israel. God, why did he have to change teams here, done? But Israel off the point.
Well, I mean, retrospectively, having Israel on blue and Wales on red makes a lot more sense flag-wise, and that's like all I care about usually on Nations Cups. So, makes me happy at least.
Alright, well, nobody thinks of the poor casters, do they? It's always about the colour schemes. Okay, we're going into a potential push for Israel. They're trying to kind of waddle their way into choke, but the soldier is just kind of pushing them back. Spam as well, pistols, everything. Kitchen sink, maybe soon to follow, as they're just kind of kicking back now on the second point instead. If they won't let them come into second point, I mean to mid point, they'll let them come to second point instead. Gink is going to go down. Oh, actually gets the pick onto Verse, so that's something. They could make a play off this, Wales.
Yeah, Gink just kind of awkwardly Goomba stomped on the DuMmTm, I think, and a lot of damage by doing so. Still didn't survive it on his own, but a lot of damage was there, and they're still getting some more. Everybody in Israel wants to deny them so aggressively. Everybody in choke takes so much damage on both ends, and in the end, just weak people and not too many consequences so far.
You can see the way that Israel are approaching this. They're not even shooting rockets at Wales. They're shooting rockets at the places they don't want them to be, and that's just the choke area. They are just denying that one spot to get in because I guess they're worried that without Verse, things get outside of the realms of that choke. It's going to be bad for them.
Yeah, we'll see. Now we have the sniper up. That will be an important factor. We haven't seen Gink too much on sniper this game, I believe, if at all. So far, there has been either people on the Israel team or Funds, but he delivers immediately. Many people know him as a good sniper from previous experiences in Premiership, so delivering right away.
Okay, Ging, that was pretty good. Do you think we could have some more? Let's see if you can follow it up with the second shot. No. Okay, so they're still going to play off the sniper. They've got some stickies to sort of deal with. Verse actually blows them a bit early. He's noticed Shull, however, so counter sniper kind of noted for Gink. He's going to adapt his gameplay appropriately as he's now choosing tighter sight lines but going for just like weaker classes.
Yeah, we will see. The sniper battle will be quite crucial here because it just allows the other one to have so much more freedom if he wins. And you really don't want to let that happen, otherwise it's going to be tougher and tougher for people to survive. The more chances you give a sniper, eventually he's going to find a shot.
Who's the better sniper? It's actually Gink. Schultz didn't even look like he saw Gink coming from that choke. So, with that sniper under his belt now, he's kind of got free reign to pick a doorway and kind of get a easier just like sightline onto the medic at least. Oh, actually they've overextended in the protecting services of his team. Gink has been baited into this death zone against Israel, and Israel are biting back. They're really hurt. They're angry for losing their sniper here, Dom.
Yeah, just maybe overvaluing the sniper a little bit too much, putting few too many resources onto it a little bit too aggressively, will fight back quite badly for them, and Israel taking a lot of space for it. Still, Ubers are intact. Nobody had used in this little bit of chaos. Obviously, Connor was way out of that one before it escalated too much, so not too much under pressure there on Wade's part. And it just leads itself to the stalemate being completely reversed as the jump comes in by Lancer, damage comes followed through, and all they get is mad CV.
Yeah, they are trying to force it so much on this chokeway, and they've done it. They've got the Uber out of Israel now, and they could maybe make the turnaround here. Jackie Legs have been launched into no man's land, the skybox, the dead zone. It's a shame there's no other whales to kind of take advantage of this Uber, so they just have to back off with it. Connor should count himself lucky that he's alive right now.
Yeah, just poor management on Ubers compared to players for Connor, and just costed them too many people too quickly to have any impact in this Uber exchange. Unfortunately, will get Sangetsu and Co. the second point. They have slightly Uber set because obviously Connor used a lot later at the expense of getting this point here for Israel, so it's a little bit of a trade-off here, and they won't have the greatest opportunity to get to the last quickly, but that doesn't stop them from just trying and walk in here.
Now, Dom, do you ever expect at any point in the game that the pocket soldier for the enemy team is going to go spy?
Yes, because it's Jackie Legs.
Is he... does the... How well known is Jackie Legs' antics between these Welsh players?
I don't know. Connor accidentally bumped into him, but he like landed like for a split second onto him, and I don't think he somehow noticed that he was levitated for a second.
An average day in the life of Connor, as he's just playing security camera right now, just trying to maybe kill him with the death stare instead of the death stab. Oh no, bad time to uncloak here, Jackie Legs! Yeah, get your cartoony knife ass away, as he's going to go down to Hugo despite the attempt of escape. And well, it's a fail for Israel is an opportunity for Wales. Let's see if they take it here, Dom.
Yeah, one pick is not great, but it's an opportunity to make something happen with Gink, the one taking it, but doesn't know where anything is and expects the medic where absolutely nothing was. Still gets out of it alive and gets a kill for it, and Fun's in the meantime sniping. Both of them cleaned up eventually, but it was looking like it's gonna be ending much worse, and in the end it's at least an exchange in numbers.
Yeah, Lanza's got things under control. It was looking a bit scary. Oh my. Well, there goes that opportunity that just as quickly as it was given, it was taken away. Still 100% Ubers for both of these teams. Need I remind everybody, 16 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, really quick round at the beginning, and that was, like, point-wise all that happened. There was a little bit back and forth after that, but up to now, the last, like, 5 minutes or so have been relatively calm and careful by both teams, playing it smarter compared to more aggressive than we've seen before here, not wanting to take all the risks we've seen in the map 1 and 2 games.
How hard is this push out from last point here, Dum? Is this one of the harder ones in TF2 to kind of pull off, or is it just inevitable that, you know, they're going to make the push out here eventually?
You need to meet, like, some specifications for it to be, like, really successful, because if you just pop in and get, like, 1 or 2 kills and that's it, and the medic stays alive, then sure, you will get the point and subsequently lose it quickly to just counter push on ad for the other side. So you really need a lot of kills, preferably the medic, but if not the medic, then everything else, really.
Shul, please, you've got to pick. That is your that's your time to go. You want to get a bit more ambitious with these snipes. They're going to be a bit on edge if you just lost the player on Wales right now, and Shul's not moving an inch to kind of put himself in danger for his team.
Yeah, but great force coming out from Lancer will get themselves in Uber that they've been looking for quite a long time now. Let's see if they can come out of it.
Are they making the push from 1? They changed their mind. They're actually going to put Shul there instead. I guess they're going to...
No, they're just kind of trying to get people an opportunity to get a shot in first. Fun's behind lines. I don't know what the plan is there. And in the meantime,
this is the
just
time to push
so much.
This is definitely the time to push now.
Now more than beforehand. Sure, Scout behind is nice, but he can still be a trouble later on. That Scout can only be a surprise if you don't look forward on the last push anymore, really.
Okay, they're going in with the Uber charge now. Zangetsu will be using right off the doorway, as they've got so much to kind of address here. They've got a heavy weapons guy, they've got a demo man stuck in spawn, they've still got some scouts and soldiers roaming about as well. They get the Matt ZV kill, but he was designed to die at this stage of the game, and Hugo's doing a good job of keeping a commanding position and kind of buying space and time for Connor to get his Uber out, and just his cleanup crew left over for Wales as they find the kill onto Lanza and will start making the push onto second.
It will be difficult though with the sniper on the other end, and they don't look too keen on it. And onto the push we've seen just now by Israel. That's the kind of push that can work a lot of the times, especially on process, when you have a much bigger advantage. But it took them so long with all this trouble behind lines and Lancer being still dead and everything. It just was not the time to go for this sort of 1 kill and then a recommit kind of push on process that you see so often on big advantages. The Uber situation was just not in their favor anymore after their own fatal.
Okay, it's Fun's turn now on Sniper Baby, and he is a pretty sharp sniper, just like the rest of them. He actually gets a headshot onto Shul, and that sets up the kill for Ging to go as well, and he's not even going to stay on Sniper. He knows he causes much more of a danger to Israel if he goes back on that scout, so he's going to switch and rotate out, ready for this push. Salentes does go down to the meat grinder of Israel and holding these chokes from a arm's length and forced out the Uber from Jackie Legs, but I think, Jackie Legs, a nice little kill onto Gink there. It's a shame the sentry gun actually got the kill. Nobody's healing that sentry gun as well, so Versus got kind of an easy point on the scoreboard, taking that one out, and they're just lacking numbers here for Wales despite having an Uber charge.
Yeah, really unfortunate, and it takes a little bit of time here. Let's just everything be a little bit more dangerous than it really needs to be, especially the Shulkeeper sniper. Eventually Connor just pops out of nowhere. What forced him? He took a lot of damage. I didn't see what hit him in the first place.
You know what? I completely missed that as well. Let's agree to disagree on what he was just...
I take an educated guess and I say it was a random sticky that was left from the push. And eventually, Verse just put up a 9th sticky, so that one dead at the moment Connor stepped on it.
Well, we'll never know. We'll just have to chalk it up
or maybe
to just...
it was nothing at all.
Yeah, maybe it's just a slip of the finger, you know?
Would have been the first for Connor, at least.
Well, we're going in now. They've got an Uber advantage, and I don't care what the conditions that last Uber was given up for. Matt CV is trying to take out the kill onto that Jackie Legs. He will succeed. Does go down by the follow-up of Lanza. Some point play by Delgin, and they're trying to also get some burst stickies and pipes on that point, and it has gone the way of Israel. If they throw enough bodies on there and they get an Uber charge advantage out of thin air, they can do it, Dum.
Yeah, and to just come back to conversion rates, right now those will be looking kind of weird to say the least, but hey, it brings Israel back into a tight situation here, so that's all that matters in the end. And they didn't allow Wales to have too much fun in the last round. Really, they couldn't get too much out of what they had most of the time.
Silentes is quite prompt on this mid alongside Lanza. They do like to turn up early for these mids, but because of both of their early arrivals, they kind of cancel each other out. They can't really set up for this mid, and it looks like Wales's DM is sailing them much better than the position and the sort of blobbing of Israel here. So Wales look like they're going to win out on this mid quite easy.
Yeah, finishing off with the last strike right now. Really long drawn out mid fight, but they're able to keep themselves together and most importantly keep Connor alive and healthy. And if this will be anything like the first round, then we should be having a 2-1 scoreline pretty quickly. But conversely, we've seen a lot of the time right now, just a minute ago, how much of a struggle it can be to get an advantage.
Jackie spy. He's trying to run to them, but he's been spotted, he's been heard, and keen ear by Silentes. He actually gets a bit of Uber. He's trying to just phase in and out of this game, get a frag onto anybody, but the Uber charge is just getting in the way of that. Jackie Legs will go down, and they're just trying to blob up with the remaining players left. Good God, the blob is getting bitten though. It is hurting and is taking so much splash from Lanza, and some scout fire. Funds exposes himself, overextends to take out that Lanza issue, but it's just not enough as the player sort of respawners are coming in now. Jackie Legs is back to the fight, and he's going to get an entry pick on that as well.
That was kind of strange that both Funds and Gink turned out to go in back to the last moment there instead of one escorting the medic out. Will cost them a little bit of Uber percentage, not too much. They still have decent advantage, it's clearly usable, but it could have been slightly better, and you never know if it will make a difference for last push.
Hugo takes a big boy jump, and oh my God, he takes a big boy air shot. Get destroyed, Hugo. That is surely going to scare Wales. Actually, they don't look scared at all. If anyone should be scared, Israel, a bit low health, but they will be the ones that actually finish off kills instead of just getting damage on the enemy team. So big boy air shots are good enough at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, and it cost Connor and Co so much time here right now, but they do have Uber now wanting to pop it for a great success, but getting forced a little bit early here, and in the end those deaths come back to bite them. This is not having much success.
Delgin dancing on the head of Gink there, but he will go down just as well, as they didn't waste a good part of that Uber just trying to find these leftover players of Israel, and they're coming back in. They're sticking to their aggressive guns here, their aggressive mantra, as they've taken the fight against Gink. He might go down here. He's being chased into sewer. He brings a friend as well, Funds, backstabbing him with a shotgun, and that is going to just delay things for Israel.
Yeah, but it's still a good opportunity here without an Uber charge to speak of on Wales' part. They can't do much against it, still just randomly rocks out of spawn and just get completely taken apart. That's the demo. They're lacking for the last point here, for the last defense. No sticks on the point makes it even easier.
Was he hiding in that point, that forward respawn the entire time? I think they saw Jackie Legs. They called out poor Silentes to go out and fight the medic, and the medic was nowhere to be found. He did go down for such a play, and without a demo to kind of set things up on this last point, the Uber charge is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. They do get Jackie Legs, the main caller, the main man for this squad, but I don't think that's still enough for Wales, especially if they're going to lose funds willy-nilly on that second point. They're just taking the chaos fight for both of them, and it's actually going Wales' way. They're connecting up just a bit better. Silentes, that is a bit ambitious. There we go. His team will bail him out of that. Poor decision by him to take a scout at close range combat. Silentes
is catching so many pipes. This is the second one he already took in this messy fight.
Silentes, he just walked back out again. The guy just doesn't care for his life, and he's still alive. He just baited Israel to keep fighting, and it's allowed Wales to make this sort of turnaround play. It's teetering on the edge of idiot to genius, this boy.
To just further give you something on the edge of idiot. And then somehow decided to randomly switch to medic and realized only after he stepped out of spawn had to wait until somebody else spawned so he could go back in to switch back to soldier. I don't know what happened now.
Alright, well, they've got an overcharge, Connor and co. They've got the building blocks to kind of end out this game here with 6 minutes left. I think it's safe to say that the next person that wins the next round is going to win this game here, Dom. But the question is who?
Be the case, yeah, and with this new advantage, it's crucial to make it work. But Israel, once again, offense is the best defense for them. They get the force early, but they're getting pressured so much by funds getting burst. They're 3 down already. Second hasn't been capped yet, which is an important thing to have going for them here, but everything else just...
Lanza needs the kill on this scout if he wants to... Oh no, the company actually comes back to kill Lanza.
They will get spawned though. 3 people are spawning in a second, and the other 2 just need some more time after that.
They need a heavy weapons guy, they need some damage, they need somebody that can really block that point and just keep continuous damage. The scouts are going to have to do a lot of work here, but I think they need to reload, and there you go. It doesn't come in the first few seconds, it comes 5 seconds later, just as they have to reload all their guns, and there we go. Second round.
Yeah, really nicely done. That was just the only decision Wales really could have done there, going forward quickly, not be allowed to be outnumbered by the spawns once the last 2 come in, and just take the 4v6 fight for as long as they can.
I mean, 5 minutes left, it's still quite possible for them to make the comeback, but we've seen in these previous games that they just can't go past that initial sort of comeback step for both of these teams, and they're playing a lot more defensive on Wales as well. Kind of, it's really the silver bullet for the mids of Israel as, oh my god.
Random Py-bun burst onto Connor, that is so huge, but Gink is still behind lines. He needs to hit something for Funds to clean up, but he doesn't. Funds still hit some shots, but it's not enough. Ron, even bad rocket. Viking could have turned this into a Sanketsu death, and that would have been crucial. Now, 4.5 minutes left. You mentioned whoever wins the next round could be the winner. This could just throw this prediction out of the window.
I just seem to be wrong on a constant barrage of things here, Dum. I truly believe that Wales had that mid, but they prevailed and just threw maybe a little bit over on the red side as they're making the uber push in. They've started off with some strong kills on both of the soldiers, and soldiers are very good counter initiation for this team as well, and with the counter initiation taken out they can just play the point. 2-2 is the score line. There is no last round in this map, it seems.
4 minutes left. Could be another golden cap, and you know, it just all comes down to this mid fight. Really, it needs to be convincing for one side over the other to just have a good chance to get into last as quickly as they can.
We're going into our pseudo golden cap here, into our 5th round mid of this game, and both teams have had like their fair share of mids. Let's see who's the one to conquer this out. A nice, strong, confident jump going out from Jackie Legs here, and Lanza follows him up as well, but they lose everybody to Hugo and the scouts, so it's up to the opposing scouts of Israel to kind of clean up the reloading players of Matt CV and Solentes, and there we go, they will find them, and Jackie Legs kept himself alive during all that. So I think that was the deciding factor in that mid, though.
Hugo, for everything he did right there, just having a really nice jump, getting a 2k with it onto the medic as well. Had a bad case of pulling out the escape plan a little early, had more than enough time to maybe hit another rocket and extend his lifespan just a little bit, but decided against it instead.
Jackie Legs had a solid jump onto Connor there, but was pushed into the shutter door and gave him his sort of escape route with that rocket as well. It's cool playing Soldier in TF2.
Sometimes it really is, and for the most part, I mean, most people want to use it that way as well, to just have the stuff that gets you killed, and Hugo finds success while doing so.
Oh man, that's a real shame as well. Zangetsu did a good job of actually surfing that first rocket out of danger, but just picks the wrong route to escape from as Hugo takes another jump at it, and they go in for a second sort of aggressive jump against
and Connor will
Wales.
fall to it and just misses his surf, gets stuck on the little rock there. Still, they have the numbers to make it work. She'll cripple all on his own. gets taken out. So despite a little bit of bad opportunities that they had there, it's still looking decent. They won't have too much disad, but obviously disad in this situation with this little time is still tough to deal with.
I think they could make the push out here. I'm not sure if they will kind of get everybody on that second point in time for Wales, but I don't think they want to humour this idea over on Israel. They're busy making their defences on last. They've already got Scholl on that engineer man as he's building up the sentry gun. They've even got a pyro. A pyro on process. That's
you don't see that all too often because it's wide open. There's a lot of space where you can just easily avoid it. But in the end, as long as it reflects a few rockets and can get out safely back into spawn, it has done its job at that point. So just needs a little bit of a moment here to shine.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna stay open-minded for the pyro on process last. Let's see. I'm impressed. Behold, Delgin, impress me.
Well, for that to work, something needs to happen in the first place. And right now they don't have too much time to make like a really grand push with a good opportunity beforehand to get an advantage. They just need to make this work now.
They've just walked in for free on this right-hand side. The pyro, well, actually, they will get forced out by the sentry gun and its rockets, and they're having a tough time of taking down the sentry gun, but the pyro just didn't do enough work. He goes down as well as the sentry gun, and with a player down and a lot of sort of kind of thing committed. Oh wait, their only chance there was funds behind, but they find him, kill him, and that pushes all for naught.
And more than likely this will go to another golden cap, and it's not the same situation we've seen on Snakewater where the respawners are probable to take this completely and turn it back around, but Hugo will try anyway. They have so little time now, it's barely possible anymore. Connor dies as well. That's just the final nail in the coffin for as much as going to golden cap is concerned here.
Wow, so this is an amazing game. Who would have thought like a game between Wales and Israel would have been just this back and forth done? I mean, not me. I was right up there with TF2 Metric, just kind of like saying this game is going to be a wish-wash, easy for Wales, easiest game of my life. But
yeah, and gotta be tough for Wales here as well. That the group for Israel was a tough one with the Czech Republic had to have two really close games and still end up second. And with a team of this caliber to play as the first seed against the second seed here is just really unfortunate for Wales in some ways.
Now, as this race turns into more of a marathon here, Dum, usually the team that learns the most lessons are the ones that win out. And is there anybody that kind of jumps out at you that's learning more lessons in this game of TF2?
I don't know, there was a lot of that for both sides on every map we've seen so far.
You're truly speechless, Dum. As we're going straight into it, I guess he's just waited with bated breath as we're right into our golden cap. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Chris Cast with Turbo, with Dum, I think, and Wiethoofd is on that production, and it's Wales versus Israel. It is match point for both of these teams. It is the mid to potentially decide things for the entirety of this Nations Cup. Let's see who wins out. Lanza gets a nice set of rockets onto Silentes to injure him down, but there's no follow-up. They are just batting Jackie Legs and some scouts, and because of just all the turned attention between both of these teams, they can't really just deal with the pressure against Israel. That's a wipe for Wales, and it's a wipe for Israel to kind of just get the round, I guess. Let's see if they can get a surprise pick as Jackie Legs is hiding forward. He's got the spawn camp going. Oh no, he's been spotted out immediately. That's a shame. As it was kind of a low risk play. There's no real ramifications that will come from Jackie Legs going down here. God, I wish I was done right now. I can't take the tension of this game. It is just all down to just any sort of little mistake hit from this point on. Silentes waiting for an arrow, almost gets killed there. These are the sort of mistakes that I can't bear to watch. And Dum, he just literally left. I can't believe he abandoned me. Anyway, we're going. We've got even Ubers between both of these teams. They've got Matt CV on Spy, just checking to see what sort of toys they're playing with on the Israel squad. He should realise that Lanza is on that trademark sniper. So he's trying to close the line. Oh my god, actually takes a headshot instead. even knew that was coming as well. That is some cruel TF2. Lanza is getting a bit more bold with his snipes now. He gets a pick onto Hugo. 2 kills. Might get a snipe onto Silentes as well. Silentes is going down. They're pressuring the point here. They need to use the Uber, but they can't get there in time. They went too deep into their bunker. It's over. The upset has happened. Israel have gone through the round of 16.
Let's get him.
My lord, this is a history point for Israel here. I think this is the furthest they've got into the Nations Cup. Maybe I'm wrong there, because Israel has had some pretty good teams in the past. We'll have to get someone to confirm that, but I've literally got the worst quality you could have in the caster. I'm speechless, ladies and gentlemen, as Israel have done what seems like the impossible, and they've won it. They've won it against Wales, against such big names as Connor, Silentes, Funds, Matt CV, for Christ's sake. Okay. We need to ease into it. Let's get some logs before we talk to some players. Let's hopefully we'll have those on your screen for you at any moment. But all right, so we're gonna stick to our regular principle here on the Crits Cast channel, where we're not going to look at those stinking golden cap logs. They don't tell us anything. They don't tell us, apart from maybe Lanza getting some snipes back and forth between the enemy team. Let's just look at the actual situation that got them into this golden cap, the main game, the 2-2, and God, Funds has got to be upset, because look at it, 37 kills, that's high for a scout in a 30-minute game, and he's trying so hard, bless him, but it's just not enough. He needs to just, I guess, get onto a whole another plane of TF2 to kind of bring home the gold, but he's just a man. Who else can we highlight here? As Delgin had a surprisingly good game, sneaking up some kills and damage and frags here and there. He just seems like the not too flashy Delgin. He just does his job very solidly. Lanza is probably the biggest name out of everybody, kind of getting some forces, getting some frags, getting those snipes as well, as we are very much acquainted with. If we look towards the medic stats, they're a bit more efficient for Zangetsu, so maybe a little insight to why things are a bit nicer for Israel in this round of 16 game, and I don't see anything else kind of jumping out from me from these stats. Maybe some advantages lost, but alright, okay, so we points back cap by zone. Conversions rate very plain, actually. This is the most like kind of 50-50 I've seen in TF2. If it wasn't for like an extra mid for, I believe, oh man, they switched teams, didn't they? So it would be Israel. If Israel if they didn't get that extra round on the board, I mean that extra mid on the board, it would be even Stevens for both of these teams. So very close between both of these squads. It all had to come down to a golden cap. Alright. Okay, the boring part is gone, ladies and gentlemen. We can now get in some angry nerds, some very happy nerds as well. We've got Angry Nerd Funds in from Team Wales, and we've got Happy Nerd Jackie Legs in from Team Israel. Boys, what a game. There was such a game that Dum's internet could not handle it, and he dropped out towards the final tail ends. He's probably thrown that computer out of the window now, because it was like the climactic end point for the game. But Funds, you've got to tell me, how are you feeling after a game like that?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good, because I think it was a good game and it was fun, so not really much to complain about. But I was kind of expecting a win, if I'm gonna be truthful. But I mean, what can you do?
Now, when you say you were expecting win, how much were you expecting win? Was this literally like easy 5-0, 5-0, or...?
No, not at all. I mean, I knew they had like a really good chance of knocking us out, because at the end of the day, it's a Nations Cup. It's basically two mixed teams versus each other. But I mean, our other games were I felt so confident playing them that I thought we had a pretty good chance. But at the same time,
Funds,
I knew it was going to be difficult.
Okay. Tell me about your high points and tell me about your low points. Tell me the contrast between these things. What would you say was the highest point for your team where you were like, yes, this game is in the bag, or we're feeling pretty good?
Probably after the first map, I guess.
Okay.
Feeling pretty good after the first map, and we pretty much adapted well, like on mids and problems like that. But I don't know.
What about the low points? There's probably a few to name. Like, what about the Silentis lag? Do you guys kicking yourself over Silentis's ping, or is it?
Yeah, that was annoying. He was basically just getting ping spikes mainly in the first couple of maps. I don't think it was happening so much at the end, but I don't know. That was kind of annoying, but I think it went away after a while.
So you're not gonna chalk it up to that excuse, then? You think?
No.
Okay. Very honourable, very honourable. Jackie Legs, let's get a interview out of you, boy, because you've just made history. You've just proved all the naysayers wrong, and you've shocked a lot of people in this game, myself included. How are you feeling? How's your squad feeling?
We are like really fucking hyped. Like it was extremely intense, and it was really fun. And yeah, I'm glad we made history because this Nations Cup is really important for me. So I'm going all the way with this, and, because like last week we kind of choked, and I was scared that we weren't going to play well against Wales because of our morale, but we just proved like something incredible happened. I don't know, played amazing.
What was your team picturing the win scenario to be in this match? Were you expecting it was going to be this close, or were you actually coming in with a lot of confidence? Were you expecting maybe some kind of wipes and like easy 5-0s?
I can say most of my team didn't think we would win, but I just kept them in like the game, kept them in the right mindset throughout the game, so we can play and just fight and keep going. And eventually, like all the pressure like came off because we just played our game. We knew how to play, and we knew if only like we don't make mistakes and get the right picks, we're gonna play well. So the idea was basically not to get rolled, but to put up a really good fight. And well, I guess we won.
Alright guys, I'm not going to keep you too long because there are some Highlander casters trying to boot me out of my seat at this moment, so I'll just leave it up to a few more questions now. Jackie Legs, remind me about Israel's history of just the Nations Cup. Is this like the furthest the point you guys have gotten, or has Israel got like a rich Nations Cup legacy? What's your aim basically? What's like, do you want to just be better than the best Israel team ever in TF2?
Well, our teams, like our nation's goals was like just to make it through playoffs and just try to make it like all the way. But yeah, I'm looking right now, it's the furthest we ever gotten since like Nations Cup 2. That was in 2009. So I'm pretty happy about this. Yeah.
All right. How about you, Fonz? What was the aspirations for Team Wales coming into it?
I wanted to get to the finals. I felt like our roster was pretty strong, and definitely the strongest Wales has ever had in the Nation Cup. But, I mean, what can you do?
Alright, well, either way, it was, I mean, not just context, but just like content alone, it was a legendary game. I'm sure it'll go down as one of the best in the Nations Cups. So, thank you for that. Other than that, we're going to have to just wrap it up here as we do have another cast incoming. So, I'm going to give you guys a proper shout-outs to all your favourite people out there. So you just start shouting some names out, and we'll move on from this point. Funds, you can start us off.
Shout out to Team Wales for having some fun games in the cup. Shout out to the Welsh players that I did not pick up for the team, thinking they were perhaps not playing the game anymore. I have since then been taught they are actually actively monitoring ETF2L 24/7 and were quite angry I didn't get them, but I mean, what can you do about that? And I guess shout out to my Discord lot.
Jackie Legs.
Shout out to my Team Israel. Shout out to you guys for casting and putting up a nice stream. Shout out to my Highlander team that I skipped on their official, so that's hype. I'm not about Highlander, I'm about Nations, you feel? And, and shout out to just like the viewers, you know? That's it.
Yeah, I'm going to actually hijack that shout out as well, because I want to double shout out to those viewers. You're the reason we do this, so thank you for tuning in to our Nations Cup content. Tune in very soon as we've got some more content for you. If you're feeling a bit more like Highlander, we've even got the casters in here just kind of tapping their fingers, waiting for me to shut my mouth up. Otherwise, that's been us on CritsCast. Thank you for tuning in. Just to remind you, it's been TurboTabs, DuMmTm, Wiethoofd bringing you this coverage, and it's been ETF2L Nations Cup number 7, Wales versus Israel. Congratulations to Israel and commiserations to Wales for making it this far. Otherwise, that has been Funds and Jackie Legs in on the interview. That is everything. CritsCast do have a bunch of things, but I don't know them off by heart, so I'm just going to hope that they're on the screen right now. Other than that, goodbye. See you later. Ta-ta.
Hi, old beaver! Away!